everybody. Today we are debating Flat Earth, and we are starting right now. Ladies and gentlemen, thrilled to have you here for another epic debate. This is going to be a fun one, folks. I want to let you know, if it's your first time here, consider hitting that subscribe button, as we have many debates coming up. So, for example, you'll see at the bottom right of your screen, this Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard, Steve McRae will be back. He will be debating with none other than Snake Was Right. So that will be part 2 of their ongoing saga. And so we are excited to have you here, folks. Want to let you know we're going to have a fairly flexible opening, or I should say format for tonight. Namely, we are going to have 10-minute openings or so from each speaker, followed by, after that, open discussion for about 60 minutes, and then Q&A. So if you have a question, fire your question into the old live chat, and from there, I will add it to the list, especially if you tag me with @Modern-DayDebate. And also, Super Chat is an option. If you want to do a Super Chat, gives you the opportunity to also ask a question during the Q&A, as well as a comment, if you would like, during the Q&A. For that, it also pushes your question or comment to the top of the list for the Q&A. And with that, we are excited to have you here. We ask that those Super Chats, of course, if they would be friendly, as I will not read Super Chats that will insult the guests, as we really do appreciate them being here. And I want to let you know, folks, we are very excited to let you know I put both of the links for the speakers in the description. So if you're listening and you're like, I want more, well, you can hear more by clicking on those links that I put down there just for you. I am so excited, folks. You've known that Nathan Thompson has had a channel, probably. He's been on here before. Mark's been on here before as well. However, he just started his channel. And I can tell you, folks, if you enjoyed the show The Tiger King, you will love Mark's YouTube channel. He owns, and I'm not joking, you think I'm making this up, he owns big cats, like lions. And I honestly I couldn't stop watching Mark's content today at his channel. So as I had mentioned, their links are in the description, folks. I encourage you to check out their stuff. Really fun stuff. So we're going to get started. Mark is willing to go first, and we appreciate that willingness to go first, Mark. The floor is all yours, but first, just let me say thanks so much, guys, for being here. It's really a pleasure to have you every time.
Thanks a lot, James. Well, I don't really know what to say here. We're debating a flat Earth, something that we thought that we took care of over 2,000 years ago. But here we go. To be honest with you, last time that I spoke to Nathan, I was very negative, and I will admit, I kind of resorted to ad hominem attacks. Yeah, I'll admit it. But I honestly didn't know that this guy was for real. I didn't even know that young Earth. Bizarre enough, but we've got a flat Earth now going on. I didn't even really know this stuff existed. I'd heard about it a little bit, but not really thinking that it was that serious. And then I looked into it a little bit, and these people will actually debate this stuff and try to make people think that it's real, that we live on some flat pancake of an Earth, with just so much stuff that doesn't work. None of the physics work. You try to work this into this pancake Earth, and we've got so many problems. So I tried as hard as I could to go off and listen to some of Nathan's debate. I seen where he picked on Professor, I forget his name. Anyways, he kind of did a little debunk thing on Nathan's channel where he went against the Globebusters and stuff, and I kind of listened to that. So I don't know what I'm going to add here, except when you show up to buy a car, you would expect the person selling you something to have something to show you. And I just don't know where these flat earthers think that when you show up to buy their product, and I take it that they must be doing this to try to make money, because I can't imagine what reason you would have to put your last name out there on something like this that's going to be around for the rest of your life. People are always going to be able to go back to to the internet and look at this stuff, especially as we start to privatize space travel. It's really not going to be long before, citizens are going to be able to go up into space and see the Earth, turn around and look at it and clearly see that it's a ball. So, I've heard Nathan say that he doesn't believe, that he thinks Einstein's a moron, that he doesn't believe in gravity. Just the amounts of stuff that he just completely, it just seems like everything's a conspiracy, all the way from coronavirus to, it doesn't matter what it is. Everything in the world is a conspiracy. And I'm not sure why. Because as far as I know, he's a Christian, and from everything that he says, basically he's making us look stupider than monkeys. So he talks about how, he's not a monkey or an ape because he doesn't fling his poo. Well, according to him, we're dumber than monkeys because we believe that we live on a globe. We believe in gravity. We believe in um, science. We believe in biology. We believe in physics. But according to him, I don't think there's one thing that is taught in science class that this guy believes in. And, that was after just a half an hour of skimming through as much of it as I could take. But you can only take so much of it because it's just, it really is ridiculous. When someone starts picking on gravity, you really gotta wonder how, someone could have the arrogance to sit there and say that Einstein's a moron. So on that, I'm just going to pass it over to him. Let's see what color car he has to sell us today. I'm sure it's this pancake Earth, and let's see if he can explain a few things and show us something that proves that we live on a flat Earth. He said in opening that I gotta prove that we live on a globe. No, I don't. Not at all. There is no percentage of scientists that think that we live on a flat Earth. So it's him that has to prove it. Like I said, when you show up to buy a car, it's the person selling the car that had better have a car to show you. It's not up to you to imagine it. You don't get there and say, well, you just got to imagine this car. And no, you got to show us it. You got to show us in numbers. You got to show us in math. So show us this flat Earth and how it works. Go ahead.
Thanks so much. We will kick it over to Nathan for his opening. And Nathan, thanks so much for being here. The floor is all yours.
Yeah, seems like Mark's actually open to the idea the Earth is flat, and he wants me to show it to him. So, Mark, I appreciate your openness and willingness to learn. I want to shout out this channel. Big fan of the channel. I'm actually a Patreon of James. So, guys, if you're here all the time and you love what James does, throw him a few bucks every month. I promise you, being an activist for 5 years, I know that type of stuff adds up. Also, my Instagram, if you're on there, the globe is flat. Check me out. I also want to thank Mark for being here. I do accept your apology. And if I was rude last time, I do want to apologize too, although I think it was mostly on your end. But, well, if I was out of line, let's just wipe the slate clean. And we'll just talk about the facts today. I think that'd be great. If anyone has any questions or something I don't cover, please super chat James. I will make sure to answer all your questions. We can roll until tomorrow morning, okay? So I love you, Mark, as a brother, and I'm not happy that you're deceived. Love is patient and kind, bro. It is not jealous, boastful, proud, or rude. It does not demand its own way. It's not irritated, and it keeps no record of anything anyone ever does wrong. So I'll try not to do any of those things tonight. Also, it does not rejoice in iniquity, but rejoices in the truth. So we should not be happy that we're being lied to about anything, and we should investigate thoroughly. And it's never loses hope, never gives up faith, is always hope, or never, and endures all things. Fumble there at the end. Sorry, guys. Sharing is caring. It's part of what I do. I'm an activist full-time. I've been full-time for 2 years. Better to give than to receive. And the truth is one of the greatest things you can give people. The truth is incontrovertible. Malice may attack it, ignorance may try and deride it, but in the end, there it is. And that's why I'm going to win the debate, is because I have the truth. Just like I've won thousands of debates before, you can go check them out on my YouTube channel. I've debated NASA employees, land surveyors, astrophysicists, PhDs, and science has been hijacked. They have all been bamboozled. So I win the debate because I have the truth. So, and that's noble on my part, Mark. Here's why, is because you're going to learn more from losing this debate than you would from winning. And I wish to give you that experience. So that's noble. And my story, guys, I grew up mocking God and I grew up mocking flat earthers. Better believe it. So I actually have two advantages in this debate: the truth, and I used to be in Mark's cult. Mark doesn't have a clue what's going on. He said his opener was, "I don't know what to say." That was the first thing he said in his opener, guys. So he's going to get steamrolled. I'm going to dismantle his arguments like a lion in the wilderness dismantling a gazelle, right? Earth, not a spinning globe in space. This is a religion founded on cartoons. And I'll show you guys more of that later. But the main reason I know that I'm going to win this debate, this is the third reason, the truth, right? I got that. Also, I've been in that cult my entire life. And the third reason is I test all things and hold fast to that which is true. So I don't need to rely on, popular opinion or general consensus. That is not what shapes my reality. That is not what shapes the truth. Plenty of times in history, if we look back, the majority of people were wrong about something. I don't even need to give any examples. So if you refuse to research this and test Earth independently yourself, like I've been doing for the last 5 years, there's lots of options. You got excellent literature out there, like Edward Hendry's book, The Greatest Lie on Earth, Terra Firma, Fact, Earth, Not a Planet, proven from scripture, reason, and fact. And also, last but not least, one of my favorites, Zetetic Astronomy by Samuel Rowbotham. These are some great books. Also, there's great channels out there like mine. If you refuse to do your own research and test all things, follow someone like me who's out there doing it. Third option is join a group like the official Flat Earth and Globe Discussion on Facebook. No cursing, no insults. 131,000 members been talking about this for the last 5 years. So I definitely know what to say in this debate, Mark. I will not have that problem. I don't need to really talk about abyssal planes. There's lots of problems with the globe, guys. Accelerometers, Ares failure, airplane level flight, Elias effect, ambient light. Ancient civilizations all knew it's flat. Astrolabes, astroarchaeology, anti-crepuscular rays. And those are just some of the A's. Astronauts drowning in space. The azimuthal equidistant map is used by the United States Geological Survey. I won't even start with the B through Z for you guys, okay? And I have 3 arguments tonight. Very simple. Large bodies of water do not curve, okay? The Earth is not spinning. The only people who think it's spinning are drunk. And the third one is space is a cartoon religion. You can't have gas pressure without a container. So in none of my opening was there did I say that Earth is a pancake at all. And real quick, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and show you some of the evidence I have for the flat stationary Earth that Mark asked for in his opener. And James, let me know if we're rolling. Says I'm sharing. Excellent. Can you see the globe on my screen at the moment? That's where most people think they live, guys. Spinning globe. I run the official Flat Earth and Globe Discussion for the last 5 years. I'm an independent researcher and investigative journalist. This is part of my speech, a compelling review on modern and biblical cosmology. Warning, this presentation or the information I share, some people may find it disturbing. I, on the other hand, don't care too much about that. I'm only here to share the truth with you guys. Don't beat up the messenger, okay? No one's asking you to believe anything I'm about to show you without questioning. At least hear me out, guys, before you do. If you are a Christian, search the scriptures, find out if what I'm saying matches up, and do your own research and experiments. Whether you're a heathen or a Bible-believing Christian, you should do your own test and figure out what is true. This is vital to make sure that we are not being deceived by the government, who, if you read any history book, time and time again has proven not to tell the truth over and over. First argument, spinning Earth 1,040 miles an hour. Now, this is what they teach in the schools, is that we live on a cartoon tilted ball spinning 1,000 miles an hour. Now, how would a spinning Earth affect our atmosphere? Well, it would cause one of two things. Either it would rotate as a cohesive body, or it would cause it to rotate as if it's a giant blender. Now, this is actually what mainstream science teaches, that we have a Coriolis effect, and that certain things like field goals are deflected, or there is a deviation caused by the rotation of the Earth. Now we'll get into the problems with that second one in a minute. I want to tackle this first one, the Earth moving as one cohesive body. Problem with that, huge problem. The higher you go up in atmosphere, guys, the air would have to be increasing in velocity. What natural force could do this? Well, there is no natural force that would cause air to increase in velocity around a spinning object. So a column of air will not move as one cohesive body as a result of moving your hand back and forth through the air, or as a result of the Earth spinning 1,000 miles an hour. Now, this is really simple to test, guys. If you spin a ball in your room, all of the air in your room at no point will all start moving at the same speed as the ball in the middle of the Earth. That's not how fluid dynamics work. We have been bamboozled about real science, ladies and gentlemen. So that's, I choose to reject that model. That's not even what mainstream science teaches, guys. So I don't really need to spend much time on that. Here's the atmospheric blender effect, which would cause a Coriolis. Now you'll notice here with the paint spinning, it moves faster towards the center and slower towards the outer parts. This is observable, testable, and repeatable. Mark said, I don't think there's a thing in the science class this guy believes in. Well, you're right, Mark.
No, I'm not from the South.
I don't need to.
I'm not from Alabama, Nathan. I'm from Canada. That's not how I talk.
I didn't your opener, Mark, and I also didn't misquote you. So if you could forgive me for the accent and let me continue without being interrupted, that would be great.
Okay, just don't let this get too long because I'm just laying in bed here soaking it up. So let's do one thing at a time. Let's not get too into this. Like you said, 10-minute openings. Where are we at right now, James? Yeah, that's what I figured. Okay.
Excellent. So this is an indisputable law of fluid dynamics. If you observe the atmosphere, you don't need to believe Earth has a Coriolis because it doesn't. It doesn't move under hot air balloons, airplanes, helicopters, insects, smoke, or balls you throw in the air. This is an urban myth. This is booga booga fairy tale nonsense taught to us by the heliocentric priest that Mark chooses to believe in. So my second argument, and I'm going to skip real quick here, is that you would not be able to have gas pressure without a container. For example, if the infinite vacuum of space surrounded the Earth's atmosphere, the atmosphere would disperse into the vacuum rapidly. This is like asking, can a tire rim have air pressure around it without a tire in a vacuum? Now, I hope you can answer this question and the spinning, rotating Earth question during the question and answer back and forth part that we're going to do here, Mark, because I know you want me to hurry up. And also, large bodies of water don't curve. That's how I know the Earth is a flat Earth, not a flat pancake Earth. Mark, you can't eat the Earth with syrup, okay? Just measurably flat, observably flat. I want to thank you for your time. You also said there's no percentage of scientists that believe in a flat Earth. Well, who cares? That's an argument from popularity. And you also talked about how citizens could go into space eventually. That's a fairy tale. They've been selling you that lie for 50 years. They allegedly landed on the moon with a rover, played golf 50 years ago. And you think eventually, 50 years ago, back with black and white television, Mark, and you think eventually in 2020, with everyone locked in their home, they're going to start sending people to space? Dude, you have the funniest religion and belief system about the world. I can't wait for this back and forth question and answer part. Let's go ahead and get into it. So, Mark, can you have gas pressure around a tire without the tire?
No, not at all.
No, yeah, the gas would disperse rapidly. So why do you
absolutely would in Earth's atmosphere. Have you ever heard of something called gravity? So let's cover the first one. Why would the atmosphere not spin with the Earth? For starters, the way scientists explain and people with just common knowledge look at outer space is a vacuum. A vacuum does not mean that it's a vacuum like a vacuum cleaner. It is just the void. That's all. It's the void of gas. So everything that we find in our universe gravitationally pulls together. So yes, the weight of all the gases, which by the way are nicely all the way from the Earth's center all the way out to the edge of the atmosphere is nicely laid out by weight, which is really quite interesting. But let's go back to this spinning. Why would the atmosphere spin with the Earth? Of course it would spin with the Earth. There is absolutely no friction in outer space. So you've got an Earth that has been spinning now for 4.54 billion years. What would you think that the atmosphere, what would cause the drag in outer space to stop the outer layers from of the gas or the atmosphere from spinning at the same speed as the Earth? And when I say the same speed, yes, from the inside, from the center of the core of the Earth, all the way out to whatever the diameter is of the furthest out layers of the atmosphere, of course it would all spin. There's nothing to stop it from spinning. And the reason that we have all of the jet streams and all that type of stuff is look at how the Earth is turning and where the sun is. You've constantly got the Earth being heated on one side. It is spinning in a way that the sun comes up first on the east, sets in the west. Where's where are we getting things wrong here? That's exactly what we'd expect. So when you talk about spinning paint in a barrel has a huge amount of friction on the outside. The barrel on the outside, the pail that you were just showing the paint in, is exerting the exact same amount of friction on the paint on the outside as the mixer is on the inside. So of course the paint is dragging as it goes to the outside. As it moves to the outside, the drag from the pail is reacting and it counteracts the mixer in the center. So you get this spiral effect. Now you take away the pail. So let's put the pail, hold on. Let's put the pail now on a set of zero friction bearings.
So we do
no
have to
friction.
just to give at some point, if you're able to make this short and pithy, that way we can kick it back over
15
to
more
Nathan.
seconds.
You have a
15
point.
more
Nathan,
seconds.
Nathan, I got it.
So put down your stupid props. So now you've put your barrel or your pail, people. Now I want you to think about this stuff. I want people out there to use their brains. So let's take the best bearings that we have today, which are ceramic bearings. They have very, very little friction. Let's mount the pail on those frictionless or as close to frictionless bearings as we can. And now let's start up our spinner. What is going to happen? That's right. The pail is going to start to spin. The paint is going to start to spin. Everything's going to spin, and you're not going to get your swirly effect, just like the atmosphere.
Okay,
Zero friction in space.
Because there's a lot of points.
It's a vacuum.
Go ahead, Nathan.
Yeah, the vacuum of space is fake. You admitted that already by saying you can't have gas pressure around a tire rim without the tire.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't.
All fluids.
Absolutely not.
Hold on.
What are you talking about?
Let's
just said that 10 minutes ago that you can't.
You're talking about a tire. I'm talking about Earth with a huge gravitational field.
Let's all right.
Talk over me.
So let's take a second, and if we have to go into 2-minute intervals and switch back and forth, we will. But I think
we'll do that. Yeah, let's do that.
So let's give Nathan.
He can, instead of saying what I said, let him explain now why it is that we would expect the atmosphere not to turn with the Earth with the frictionless environment of space.
We've had a good amount of points from Mark. We'll switch over for.
That's my only point. That's all I talked about.
But from the statement before that, we're also going to try to give Nathan enough time to try to address those points as well. So.
Yeah, let him answer that.
We'll kick it over to Nathan. Go ahead, Nathan.
Excellent. So you are just presupposing movement in all of your example and then saying, why wouldn't the atmosphere move with the Earth? Well, for two reasons, Mark, if you were listening in my introduction, it's not how fluid dynamics work. The air around the surface of Earth would have a drag. You keep talking about your fairy tale belief in space and how there is no friction, but on the surface of Earth, the topography of Earth would have some friction and would create
Absolutely.
a drag. So we would
Absolutely. Thanks for making my
Okay,
point.
just so we can hear Nathan. Go ahead,
Has
Nathan.
it been 2 minutes already? Because
No.
you asked, let's go to 2-minute intervals, Mark, and then you.
No, I'm just saying, thank you for making my point.
Okay.
Earth
So
has
just-
a huge amount of drag.
Just so that we can hear Nathan, we'll kick it back over to Nathan, and then Mark, if you're willing to hold your peace until we come back to you, I promise we'll come
will.
back.
It's all, guys, I've been doing this for 5 years. It's the same thing with these globe earthers. They can't contain themselves. They have to insult you. They have to interrupt you over and over. Last time I had a debate with Fight the Flat Earth, I personally counted 50 interruptions and insults. So if we could please refrain from interrupting each other. I let you ramble on for, 3 to 5 minutes there, Mark. Give me 1 minute to talk about everything you said, okay? You presuppose space is a vacuum. You already said you can't have pressure around a tire rim without a container, okay? Space is a void. You said that. The definition of a vacuum is the absence of gas pressure. So you're basically saying, of course we have gas pressure in a vacuum. That's what I've been taught my entire life. But it's not science. It's not observable. It's not repeatable. It's part of the SpongeBob fairy tale you've been sold. Now, the second thing I want to cover is, you said, why wouldn't the Earth's atmosphere move with the Earth? Well, 2 reasons. Fluid dynamics, I went over that. And the second reason, Mark, that's not even what your religion teaches. Neil deGrasse Tyson, if you read his Twitter, he's got 6 million followers. He's the most famous scientist on Earth for your heliocentric globe religion, says that field goals have a deviation or deflect because of the Earth's Coriolis. Now, you deny that that happens. You apparently think you're smarter than the world's leading heliocentric astrophysicist by claiming, of course, the atmosphere would move with the presupposed, never proven to move, non-rotating Earth that is immovable in Scripture. So, Mark, why do you believe in space, and why do you believe the Earth moves?
It's really too bad that you don't understand the difference between gyroscopic precession, which is what he's talking about when you talk about why things that are flying through the atmosphere will veer off to one side. That's called gyroscopic precession. That can be done with a bicycle wheel. But anyways, back to this. Yeah, absolutely you can have pressure around a rim.
Gyroscopic precession. Can you elaborate?
You know what gyroscopic precession is?
Can you elaborate how you think gyroscopic precession proves your argument of a non-rotating Earth?
All right, now we gotta let him answer, Nathan. So let's give him 2 minutes, and then we'll come back to you.
Do you know what gyroscopic precession is? It's a question for you, Nathan.
2 minutes, Mark, to elaborate on.
No, I'm asking you a question. This is how I want to use my time. Do you know what gyroscopic precession is?
A football in the air.
No, not a football. Do you know what gyroscopic precession is?
I would say you're gaslighting, okay?
No, not gaslighting. I'm asking you, do you know what gyroscopic precession is?
I don't have a definition memorized off the top.
Okay, it's a very simple thing. When you put pressure on something that's spinning, it'll veer off at a 90-degree angle from where you put the pressure. So what he's talking about, when you throw a football or when you shoot a bullet, the reason that it veers off and cocks off on an angle is because of something called gyroscopic precession. Has nothing to do with the atmosphere or the atmosphere not spinning with the Earth. It has to do with the fact that you've got something that is spinning and you're shooting something out from it. Look it up, learn about gyroscopic precession. But by the way, helicopters would not fly if it wasn't for gyroscopic precession. So when we want to fly a helicopter forward, we put a command in 90 degrees. So we're actually putting the command in 90 degrees off to the side, left-hand side on a counter rotation blade system. On a counter rotating, it's on the opposite side. It's on the right-hand side. That's where the pressure goes in to cause a helicopter to fly forward. That is the exact same pressure that is being put on the ball or the bullet, and that is what causes it to veer off. So when he is talking about throwing a football and that football having to be compensated for, it has, and by the way, it's millimeters, if that. It's not a huge number. Even with a bullet, I can shoot out. This is what I do. I shoot guns. We don't even take it into account at a kilometer. So I'll let you go on, look up gyroscopic precession, learn about it. It has nothing to do with the atmosphere. And yes, we can have a pressure around a rim without a tire, and it's about 14.5 psi or 14.689 or whatever the hell atmospheric pressure is wherever you happen to live. That's the pressure that you can have around a rim without a container. And that is the pressure that we have at Earth's surface on average. It's around 14.69, I believe it is. So go ahead.
Excellent. So none of that was any proof the Earth is rotating 1,040 miles an hour. You said it's very small, it's millimeters. Now, if the Earth was rotating 1,040 miles an hour, which is faster than the speed of sound, okay,
absolutely,
then that would necessitate a Coriolis effect, which is what's taught in mainstream science. And now you're kind of flip-flopping on your argument. You said the atmosphere moves with the Earth, but now right, when a field goal is kicked and a football is in the air, now you're saying that it moves separately from the Earth, but just millimeters.
Do you want me to answer that?
Please.
Yeah, the force that's being acted on the bullet. Let's not talk about a football because it's too small. It would be unmeasurable.
No.
The force that we're talking. I don't give a shit what Neil deGrasse Tyson has to say. I get to answer yet. You shoot a bullet. The force that is acting on the bullet is called gyroscopic precession, and it's because the bullet is rotating due to the rifling in the barrel, so it is spinning, and we're on a spinning Earth, and that is what causes it to veer off to one side. Absolutely nothing to do with the fact that what are you trying to say? The atmosphere isn't turning with the Earth? Is that what you're trying to say here?
The Earth is not rotating, period, is what I'm trying to say.
We have tons of proof it is.
You said the atmosphere moves with the Earth, and now you're saying that the reason the rifles deflect is because they're spinning out of the barrel. Okay,
exactly.
That is not Earth rotation, SpongeBob. That is the barrel causing the bullet to deflect.
No, are you really that thick? Come on, man. Listen to me. Have you ever taken a bicycle wheel, spun it, and tried to move it off its axis?
Yeah, but in that example, the bicycle wheel is spinning, okay? You haven't...
And the bullet is spinning. And the reason... Okay, so let me answer. And the bullet is spinning. And the way that we know the Earth is spinning is because we have gyroscopic precession being pushed against that bullet. That observed gravity on this Earth. If we lived on a flat Earth, as we move out to the outer edges of this pancake Earth, and I don't know if it's not pancake shaped. I don't know what the hell shape would a flat Earth be. Is it square, triangular? I don't know. As you move to the outside, we would have diminishing amounts of gravity. Explain that to me. And I watched one of your debates before. Apparently you think gravity is a joke. So explain that to everybody.
All right. So real quick, I don't want to move off that Earth rotating topic because you just kind of brushed it off. Does Earth rotate under hot air balloons, airplanes, insects, smoke, balls you throw in the air, or not, Mark?
Does it rotate under it? No, we're all moving as a cohesive. We're all moving together. The atmosphere is moving, and the reason that it is moving is exactly like you said. Tons of friction from the Earth. Tons of molecules pushing against molecules. Out in outer space, no friction, no molecules. So yes, everything turns the same. And that's why I dare you to take your bucket example where you're spinning the paint and showing all those swirlies. Now put that bucket on a set of ceramic bearings and try your experiment again. I will guarantee you, except for overcoming the momentum of getting the bucket spinning and the material in the bucket, no, it will spin with it. And that is the same as the Earth and outer space. There is no friction in outer space. Why wouldn't the atmosphere move with the Earth?
All right,
Obviously.
there you go, guys. You heard it right here. Mainstream science, everything in the textbooks, and Neil deGrasse Tyson's wrong. There is no Coriolis effect. The Earth doesn't move under objects. It moves with the Earth.
Do you know what the Coriolis effect is?
Mark. Thank you so much. We need to correct all the textbooks and talk to Neil deGrasse Tyson, because you're apparently smarter than everything they're teaching in mainstream science.
Explain the Coriolis effect for us. Explain it to us and what causes it.
I'm happy to explain the Coriolis.
Explain it. Go ahead.
If you look it up, it's a fictitious effect, and it happens on real spinning balls, but the Earth is not a spinning ball. So they have to make up that the Earth has what's called a Coriolis effect. And that is, if the Earth was a spinning ball, the atmosphere would not be magically attached to the Earth's surface. For example, if I move this book back and forth, all the air above the book does not magically start moving back and forth with the book. That's not how fluid dynamics work. That's not even what they teach in mainstream science, bro. So the atmosphere does not move with the Earth on your cartoon globe religion. That's just you denying the fact that there is no deviation from objects you throw in the air from Earth's surface, because there isn't. Hot air balloons, helicopters, airplane travel. If Earth was a rotating ball, there would be drastic difference in journey times for airplanes traveling east to west, as opposed to airplanes traveling west to east. But I travel pretty much every month when the world's not shut down, Mark, and the journeys are pretty much the same. There is no compensation in the target generation facility that they train pilots on for a rotating Earth. They also don't compensate for Earth curve, and they negate a gravity vector in the software. Now, we can get to gravity eventually, but I just want a good solid concession. There's no Coriolis effect. The atmosphere moves with the Earth.
What are you talking about? Are you trying to tell me that when you fly east to west and west to east, your flight times are the same?
Relatively the same. Depends on.
No, not even close to the same. Not even the close. Come on, man. You're dealing with almost 160, 170 mile an hour jet streams. Come on, man. What's wrong with you?
For bringing up the jet streams, because
why the hell do you think they always try? Why do you think they always try to fly from west to east? Why do you think they always do that? And where do you think the jet stream comes from?
Well, we live in a closed dynamic system. I mean, are you going to take notes for this? We live in a closed dynamic system. So our jet stream comes from the heat being introduced above our atmosphere, which is always moving. The Bible says that the sun and moon are on circuits, but the wheel in the sky keeps on turning. So that's one reason we have jet streams. That's also why we have seasons, Mark, and tides and time zones and sunrises and sunsets. So I can school you on all that too, bud. But
you can't school me on anything, Nathan. So far, you've failed everything. All everyone has to do is look up what I've been saying, and they'll see how wrong you are on everything so far. But let's get on to gravity here. Where's gravity come from?
The atmosphere. That's not even what mainstream science teaches, Mark.
Absolutely it is. Absolutely it is. If it wasn't...
Let's give Mark a chance to respond, Nathan. We'll come back to you.
Hey, Nathan, if it wasn't what science taught, we would go outside and there'd be 700 or 800 or 1,000 mile an hour winds continuously blowing us over. That's exactly what science tells us, that when we go outside, guess what? The atmosphere is turning with the Earth. If it wasn't, we'd have 1,000 mile an hour winds at the equator blowing us over. So I don't know what science book you're reading where we're supposed to go out of our house and you're under the understanding that the atmosphere doesn't turn with the Earth, and that when you go up in an airplane, all of us, what would you expect, the Earth to rotate under you at the equator at 1,040 miles an hour? Is that what you're saying?
Neil deGrasse Tyson,
I don't give a shit about Neil deGrasse Tyson. I could give a shit about people.
Let's give him a shot, and then I promise we'll come right back to you, Mark.
Another interruption. Thank you so much for showing what the globe religion has to look forward to when they're getting slammed in a debate, okay? Insults and interruptions, guys. This is what you get from anti-flat earthers. So Neil deGrasse Tyson, I know you don't care what he says, but he's the most famous scientist in the world. And he's quoting what is actually taught in the textbooks, that the earth moves under objects that are in the atmosphere. But you have a big problem with this, Mark. We don't observe it. That's why you keep saying the atmosphere moves with the earth.
Absolutely, it does.
Great.
If it didn't, we wouldn't be able to fly from the west to the east or the east to the west. There'd be a huge difference. So no scientist. You think Neil deGrasse Tyson hasn't hopped in an airplane? We can't see your phone. It's overly bright. So anyways, all people need to do is look this up and they will understand what this is all
that's
about.
why I'm showing my phone, because all they need to do is
can't see nothing on it.
Let's give him a chance to respond, Nathan. I promise we'll come right back to you if you want to show what you've looked up.
Anyways, turn down your brightness. We can't see anything on your phone. You're going to have to turn your brightness way down.
That's all you had to say, Mark?
Yeah, I'm helping you out. Turn your brightness down so we can see your phone. All it is a white glare.
You told everyone they can look this up. So I did. And now I'll tell everyone the same thing you said, Mark. They can look this up themselves. Does Earth have a Coriolis effect? The Coriolis effect impacts objects. Objects like a ball or a helicopter or a hot air balloon, insects, smoke, nothing experiences a Coriolis effect in nature. The Earth is not rotating under airplanes. You laughed at it and said, what do you expect? The Earth will be rotating 800 miles. No, the Earth moves 1,030 miles an hour at the equator. It's faster than the speed of sound. And if Earth was spinning 1,000 miles an hour, Mark, there would be some type of deviation when you throw balls in the air. That's why these lying heliocentric priests have to confuse you guys and make Twitter posts about field goals being deflected and because of the Earth's rotation. But apparently you're smarter than all of them. There is no deviation. There is no deflection. There is no Coriolis. Google's wrong. Mark knows the truth. And the atmosphere moves with the Earth. Thanks so much, Mark. We'll have to update the science books.
Okay, so tell me, now that you got the Coriolis effect worked out there, tell me how much a bullet shot out 2 kilometers, how much would you expect it to deviate? Come on, genius, you laughed at me. Tell me what that number should be. How much would you expect a bullet shot out 2 kilometers? How far would you expect it to deviate?
Starting the clock so I don't get interrupted again, but we have ex-Marine snipers in the group, the official Flat Earth and Globe discussion. One of them is Miguel Michael Angel. He has a $20,000 cash prize for anyone that can prove when you fire a bullet, there is a Coriolis, because his story is interesting. He trained people to shoot for the military and never heard about this Coriolis effect until he heard about flat Earth. Now, Mark apparently doesn't know that this is what they teach, that there's a Coriolis effect. Now he's asking me to tell him how much deviation there should be for a 2-kilometer sniper bullet moving on 1,000 mile per hour. You don't know your own religion, Mark. This is pathetic. My time's over on this subject.
So anyways, clown, I do shoot out 1 kilometer. I can show you the gun right beside me that I do it with. It's a 22-250. And I'm telling you that the deviation due to the Coriolis effect is 0. Absolutely 0. We don't even compensate for it. And that is why your person, yes, because it is so small. It is so small. It doesn't matter. Why are you talking, clown?
Thank you for saying we don't compensate for it. That was amazing.
Two things. Nathan, we can come back to you, but I also have to let you know, Mark, your volume's starting to hit the top of the meter. So
I bet it is.
We can come back.
Can you believe, though, that this clown sits here and talks about how I'm a terrible person for my religion?
Let's switch into.
Hey, clown, it's my turn.
Hold on. Let's switch into. Hold on a second. Okay, you guys are. I hate to mute you, but we're both on. You're both on mute. So we're gonna kick it over to I'm trying to remember whose turn it was last. I think. Okay, so Mark's got his hand up. So Nathan, it looks like you're okay with that. You're conceding that. We can kick it over to Mark. We'll come back to Nathan right after that, and so we'll do about 2 minutes. And the floor is yours, Mark.
Isn't it funny how he sits there and says how the Globers always just interrupt, and go back and watch that last 2 minutes where I was trying to talk to him. But yes, again, so what this clown with the SpongeBob thing here, Kent Holden little prop, which shows the size of his brain. It's similar to Kent Holden, the religious, sell anything that they can to make money. But anyways, yeah, the Coriolis effect for shooting a bullet out a kilometer, we don't even take it into account. And the reason is Nathan would like you to think that we're sitting here spinning. How old are you, Nathan? Look at this guy. Oh my God. Anyways, he would like, wow. He would like you to believe that spinning at this 1,000. Now what's he doing?
You're crying.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Nathan,
Anyways,
you gotta let him
at
finish.
1,030 miles an hour at the
Nathan, you have
equator,
to let him finish.
he's
I'm
trying to make you.
He's talking to me.
There he goes. Now, yeah, I'm asking what you're doing. You're rubbing your eyes and acting like a clown.
He's asking Nathan, hold on. He's asking rhetorically. So, well, let's just let him finish his 2 minutes, and I promise we'll give you your 2 minutes, Nathan.
It's like when you walk up to someone and say, "Are you retarded?" You don't exactly expect them to have an answer for you. But at any rate, so he would like you to think that this is a massive speed. We're spinning at 1,030 miles an hour, whatever he comes up with at whatever height out from the center of rotation he comes up with. Just think about the force that is involved. The Earth is spinning at half of the speed of the hour hand on your clock. Okay, so there's the effect. So that's all you've got to think about is this. He uses these big numbers to confuse simple-minded people, but no, the reason that we don't take the Coriolis effect into account is because it is such a small percentage of correction that we need to shoot out 1 kilometer or 1,000 meters, which I do all the time. Like I say, I have a Savage gun here made to do that, and I do it all the time out at our gun range. We don't even take it into account. Do we take side winds? Yeah, absolutely. We take side winds into account. Do we take it? No, we don't take the spinning Earth into effect whatsoever. But the reason that because it's a small percentage, but anything that's a small percentage apparently proves to Nathan that it's a flat Earth, because he can't see anything down below 1 percentage point or whatever his mind works his way down to. But what he doesn't understand is we can measure things down to thousands of decimal points. So fact is that, yeah, we don't take the Coriolis effect into account. I challenge anybody to go on Facebook and mount his bucket onto a set of frictionless or as close to frictionless. So get yourself some ceramic bearings, put the bucket on ceramic bearings, start up slowly, because you've got to overcome the drag or the momentum. You've got to get the fluid spinning. You've got to get the bucket spinning. So spin it up slowly, and you will see that, yes, when there is no friction on the outside, just like space is, you will not get a drag. But I would really like to get on to his gravity thing here, because that was the part that blew me the most listening to
we'll
his
have to switch
talks.
over here. Go ahead, Nathan, now. Nathan, you might be on mute. We can't hear you on this side.
Yeah, I did mute myself. I didn't want to interrupt James and do what they do constantly to me, So, James, I appreciate you calling me a clown and telling the audience that you go up to people and call them a retard. I don't think it's very Christian of you, but
I'm not a Christian.
It's just more insults. Yeah, well, obviously. So it's just more insults and more interruptions from the Globers, guys. And Mark, he admitted it here, guys. He does not account for the rotation of the Earth, because there is no rotation of the Earth. That was awesome. Really appreciate that. And then also, he said the Earth is speeding at half the speed of a hand on a clock. Now, I'll concede the rest of my time, Mark. I just want a real concise answer on this. Do you think the hand on a clock is moving 2,000 miles an hour? Because you said the hand on a clock is moving at half the speed as the rotating Earth, which if it's 24,901 miles around, Mark, and makes it 24 hours daytime circuit, then you are moving 1,000 miles an hour at the equator, ipso facto. There's no if, ands, or buts about it. So do you believe that hand on a clock is moving at 2,000 miles an hour, Mark? Because you said it's moving at half the speed. The Earth moves at half the speed as a hand on a clock. So does the hand on a clock move 2,000 miles an hour, Mark?
Please tell me that you're honestly not this stupid.
Another insult. Excellent.
No, please tell me that you're not that stupid. Do you realize that an hour hand on a clock? Do you need sleep or what's wrong with you there?
Crybaby. You have no scientific arguments. You're just a crybaby. All you've done this
Nathan, we've got to let him finish his time. This is rhetorical. He's trying to.
Wow.
He's asking rhetorical questions. We'll come to you.
This is special. So let me explain. Oh, he's going to talk again. So let me explain something to you there, Nathan. If you were to take an hour hand and extend it out far enough from the center of rotation, the outside, the furthest point against the center of rotation, could, in theory, spin at the speed of light. Do you understand that? Or are you really that stunned? If you can't understand that speed has nothing to do with RPM, then I really am about to close my computer and give up. Now, do you understand that the speed of an hour hand on the clock could spin at 10,000 miles an hour at the outer limit? Do you understand that? If not, I'm done. What is the speed of an hour hand?
You said the speed of the clock, hand on a clock, is twice the speed of the rotating Earth, which is moving 1,000 miles an hour. I asked you a very simple question, and you insulted me over and over again. Now, does the hand on a clock move 2,000 miles an hour, or did you misspeak and you meant revolutions per minute or hour or day? Is that what you meant, Mark, and you misspoke?
Are you serious? Are you really that stunned
that
you thought you can't figure out that when I said that the hour, what do you, can you put your toys away? Go back and put those in your sandbox, okay, clown? He's going to interrupt me again. So once again, clown, the hour hand on a clock doesn't spin at any speed. It spins at a certain amount of revolutions, a percentage per hour, you clown. So yes, when I said to you, the Earth is spinning at, get this right, I really hope you can understand what we're saying. An hour hand takes 12 hours to go around the clock. Guess what? The Earth does twice that. So it takes twice the amount of time as an hour hand going around the clock. So yes, it has, I don't know where miles per hour on a clock hand comes into account. Maybe if you told me how long the arm is, then I'll tell you how many miles an hour it's going. How's that?
But you just told me that it doesn't have a speed.
It doesn't have a speed.
Okay, so how are you going to tell me how many miles per hour it's going when that's a speed?
Because I can tell you that it is turning at one revolution every 12 hours. Now I need to know the length, you clown. So if the arm is 7,000 feet long, then the miles per hour out at the tip is, you do understand that the tip of a rotor on a helicopter is spinning faster. It's moving at a higher speed through the air than the center, right? You do understand that. Can we concede that at least?
So rotor blades have a speed, but hands on a clock don't have a speed.
I didn't say that.
Yeah, you
Everything has a speed. I can't tell you what the speed. I can't tell you what the speed of anything is based on revolutions per minute until I know the length of the arm. How can you not understand that? Do you understand how levers work?
You said twice, Mark, that hands on a clock don't have a speed, and
They do not have a speed. They have a revolution per hour. Exactly.
So they don't
That's
have
not a speed.
Okay, so speed is distance and time traveled. So does an hour hand?
There you go. There you go. Now we need to know how long the lever is.
So it does have a speed. We just need to know how long the lever is.
There you go. Good stuff. So now, if we take a clock's hand and we extend it out to the diameter of the Earth, a clock's hand at the diameter of the Earth, the hour hand, would be spinning at twice the speed of Earth's rotation. How do you not understand this stuff?
So you just said clock hands don't have a speed like 3 times. Now you're saying if you extend it out, the speed would be twice the speed of the Earth.
Yes, so if you extend it out to the diameter of, oh, come on, Nathan, you're not this dumb.
Nathan, we got to give him a chance to respond.
You're not this dumb.
That you're saying, oh, it doesn't have a speed. Oh, but you just need to know the lever length. Then you can determine the speed. You are a double speaking Colt Bundy, dude.
We're going to give 2 minutes to Mark to respond to that. Nathan, we won't have any interruptions. Nathan, we're going to give 2 minutes.
Okay, so with anyone out there who can think for themselves, RPM does not tell you the speed of anything. The RPM is the revolution. The speed is the distance traveled over a certain amount of time. So you need to know what the length of the lever is. What I just tried to, I think Nathan's gone to get another toy. I think what people need to understand here is you can't work out power. You can't work out anything until you know the length of the lever that you're dealing with. So yes, if you have a clock hand, and like I said to Nathan, and you extended the hour hand out to be the same diameter as the Earth at the equator, the hour hand would be spinning at twice the speed of the rotation of the Earth, which is roughly 1,030, 1,040 miles an hour, depending on your altitude at the equator. But like I said, this all means absolutely nothing. All that Nathan has done so far is said that I have proved that the Earth is not spinning because we don't have to take the Coriolis effect into our calculations for shooting out up to 2 kilometers, which obviously to him means if something is such a small percentage, the amount of effect that something has on something, if it's a small percentage, all of a sudden that means it's not real. So if it's not a huge percentage, it doesn't exist. So I'm telling you, I shoot out 1,000 meters. I have a gun right here. I'll show it when he's talking. I can shoot out 1,000 meters. It's a 22-250, so it's a 22 size bullet with a shitload of gunpowder behind it. And when we shoot out to 1,000 kilometers, no, we don't take Earth's rotation into effect. We don't need to take it into effect. The bullet is traveling far too fast for what Nathan's talking about. But what he doesn't understand is it's called gyroscopic precession, which is actually what causes the bullet to shoot out, and then it actually usually dives is what ends up happening. That's why you have to adjust your sights, whether you're shooting up, whether you're shooting down, but people can look into that type of stuff. But what I would really like to know from Nathan here is explain gravity, Nathan. On a pancake Earth, where do we get gravity, and why does it not vary as we get to the edges? Go ahead.
Nathan, I think you're on mute.
James, that was 2 minutes and 40 seconds. He extended past his 2 minutes and then basically said all that just to ask me what I think about gravity on this pancake Earth. He keeps reiterating Earth's a pancake.
Okay, well, hold on. Well, if you want, we can give you 40 extra seconds to keep it fair. The fact that you're out of the room, I don't know what you want us to do. Just be silent.
Right here.
So we'll give you the same time, though.
James, I was right here, holding my phone up with the timer on it while he was talking. So, gotcha. All right, I appreciate the extended time. Mark wants me to explain gravity to him. Well, gravity is a vain religious superstition that they teach in schools. action at a distance because of mass. Now, if you look around in nature, large objects do not have a gravitational pull or some type of magnetic-like attraction to smaller objects. That's not observed. That's hocus pocus, SpongeBob science that they teach us when we're 6 years old, because when you're 6 years old, you are not a critical thinker. You don't think that the government's lying to you about the shape of the earth or making up fictitious forces and saying that action at a distance is what's causing everything to stick to this tilted cartoon spinning ball. But mass attracting mass has been superseded by your favorite cult preacher, Einstein. And Einstein proposed that gravity was happening because of bendy space-time. Now, space doesn't have any properties. You admitted it was a void, and time isn't physical. So how you bend something that isn't physical and has no properties to basically believe you live on a spinning tilted cartoon ball is just comedy hour for anyone who realizes the truth and is not scientifically illiterate. Now, you asked me how gravity works. I'll ask you one question, Mark. Can you explain the three constituent parts of a scientific experiment or not?
What are you talking about? What would you like me to answer there? What would you like? I've asked you a question, and your question is to ask me a question. I've asked you, and I've been trying since we started this, because like I told you, the stunnedest thing I ever hear you talk about is gravity. So explain to me, no, I'm only going to talk for a few seconds here, and then I'm going to let you talk, because I'd like to know this. What keeps us on this conspiracy earth that we're on? What sucks us down to it? What keeps us on it?
Well, mass attracting mass is not observable, measurable, or repeatable. There's no science to back that up. And bendy space-time is literally a reification.
Didn't ask about bendy space-time. I said, what holds us on Earth?
I'm trying to answer your question. Mainstream science teaches that gravity is caused by the bending and warping of space-time. So no, I know you didn't ask about space-time, you asked about gravity, but newsflash, you don't know your own religion. So space-time is what is allegedly causing your gravity. You asked why we don't fly away or why we're sucked down to the flat pancake earth you keep talking about. But you, my friend, are denser than air. So you're also not Peter Pan. So I don't know how many Disney movies you watch, but humans cannot fly. Air is less dense than a human. So that's why we don't fly, Mark. And gravity, to answer your question about what is gravity, it's not real. It's fake. Mass attracting mass, never proven. Bendy space-time, never proven. Can you tell me the three constituent parts of a scientific experiment or not?
So are you telling me that the reason we're on this pancake earth is because we sunk to the bottom of our atmosphere? Is that what you're telling me? I'm asking you again, what is gravity? What is holding us on your pancake earth? What is holding us here?
Nathan, let's let him finish.
He's asking
what's holding us down? What is holding us down on your pancake earth?
Nathan, if you want. Nathan, if he's asking the same question, you can point it out once he finishes, but we just want to let people finish.
Okay, yeah. Let's let him finish the same question. Go ahead. Are you done, Mark?
Yeah, again, what is holding us down on your pancake earth? The globe is fully understood by gravity. So we have mathematical models for it. We have everything. So what is holding us down on your pancake earth? Tell me again.
Observable, measurable, and repeatable science, Mark. You are denser than the air above your head, so you would not float up to the top of the dome. You remain on the ground, okay? So we don't need any hocus pocus.
Good answer. Good answer. Can I ask you a question then? So
well,
are you saying, oh, okay, continue.
We don't need any hocus pocus, action at a distance because of mass, or bendy space-time beliefs on a flat earth because one, it's not science. You still haven't answered my question. I will ask a third time what the three constituent parts of a scientific experiment is. Now, just a newsflash, Mark. I don't know if you've ever been eating your dinner and been worried that things are going to fly off your dinner plate, but that's not how a stationary flat earth would work. That's not how your dinner plate works also. Things fly off of spinning balls. So if there is no proof, you can't give me any proof of gravity, like, what do you think is keeping you on a spinning ball? But you're going to, because there is no scientific proof of gravity, Mark, you're going to have to tell me the three constituent parts of a scientific experiment. I don't know, you Googled it. I see you looking over at the side there.
No, I haven't. I'm just looking at my phone. I haven't looked at all. I know how we prove things in science. I know how we go about. So where you just screwed yourself here, Nathan, and you just screwed yourself really bad. And I don't think you realize, and I can't believe that somebody who says they've done this for 5 years. Do you want to play with your toys or do you want to have a talk? Like, if you want to go and play with your toys.
Mark, what is your argument? Carry on.
Okay, so why is it, Nathan, that when we measure gold, we measure it compared to a standard on a balance beam? Why do we not measure gold with a scale? Answer me that.
Gold has weight, Mark. There's no science to back gravity. I would like the three constituent parts of a scientific experiment. That's my fourth.
No, we're not moving on to anything until you answer my question. And I've asked you 10 times since we started this, what is holding us on the earth? So far, all you've told me is that because I am denser than the atmosphere, I have sunk to the bottom like a rock. Are you going to pull in another toy? Oh, I see.
Ding, ding, ding. You figured it out, Mark. You are not Peter Pan, and you are not less than.
I think we were still in Mark's statement, so we're going to let Mark finish up, and I promise we'll give you 2 minutes, Nathan.
So what Nathan has done here, that's a big mistake, people, that anybody can look into. If you take 100 pounds of weight and you measure it on a scale at the North Pole or the South Pole, then you measure it at the equator. And Nathan, go look this up, why don't you? Due to the bulge at the center of the Earth, we lose about 1% or 0.1% due to the fact that it's about 21 kilometers further out from the center of the central mass of the ball, basically. So we lose 0.1% due to the bulge at the equator. But guess what we also do that Nathan just said? If the Earth was spinning, we would expect things to fly off. Guess what happens if we weigh 100 pounds at the North or South Pole as we work our way up to the equator? That's right, Nathan. Why don't you look it up? Instead of, what are you doing?
You fly off the globe? You said, I said, if we're on a spinning ball, you would fly off. Well,
why would we fly off? We have mathematical models that tell us exactly how much centrifugal force there would be at the equator. And guess what it works out to? About 0.4%. So there you go. We can take 100 pounds at the North Pole. We can weigh it on a scale, a real scale. Then we can take it to the equator. And guess what? 0.4% in measurements. I know you don't like small numbers, but that is enormous. That's like years in how close we can measure things. We can measure weights down to thousands of decimal points, but 0.4% is how much lighter things are at the equator compared to the poles. And guess what? As you work your way around the arc, it mathematically works out perfectly. And anybody can do this experiment, which tells you that Nathan is wrong, because Nathan just said, if the Earth is spinning, you would expect there to be a certain amount of centrifugal force. And guess what? There is. It is 0.4. So 100 pounds would be 0.4 of a pound lighter at the equator. Plus the bulge of 21 kilometers gives you another 0.1. So it's about half a pound lighter at the equator. That's why people don't buy gold at the equator and then sell it at the North Pole. That's why we compare it to a standard weight. So again, I'm going to ask you, why are things lighter? And by the way, 0.4, don't look at it like it's a small number. 0.4 of 100 pounds, we can measure down thousands of points when it comes to weight. This is a huge number. And we also compensate for it on our satellites and everything. So explain it to me, Nathan. Why you just told me if we were spinning at the equator, we would be lighter. No, we wouldn't fly off. Math doesn't tell us we would fly off. Math tells us that we'd be 0.4 of a pound lighter. Guess what? It's exactly what we are. Figure that out. I'll look it up to see if my numbers are right. It's been a long time since I looked at that. Go ahead.
Before you look that up, could you, for the 5th time, tell me the 3 constituent parts of a scientific?
No, we're not talking about anything. Obviously, like you said, I could have looked this up. You haven't got me on any big I got you. I started this out tonight, and I want to know what holds us down on your pancake Earth. If you can't tell me what holds us down on your pancake Earth with a scientific mathematical model, we are done this debate. So, like I've been asking you since the beginning, what holds us down on this pancake Earth?
Do I get 2 minutes now uninterrupted?
You can have 5. I just want this answered.
What holds us down is the fact that the Earth isn't spinning. We don't need a magical force to hold us down. You don't need a magical force to keep your dinner on your non-rotating flat dinner plate. Works the same thing with our flat stationary Earth. You also are not Peter Pan, you're not Superman, you don't have any flying capabilities. So that would be supernatural. Humans do not fly. So, and actually,
yes, we do.
Uninterrupted, you gave me 35 seconds, all right? So
yeah, that's fine, but just let me answer. Let me answer. Let's get into more of a back and forth instead of speeches if we can.
Just to be fair, I do want to. Well, I think what we can do is we can do that, but I do want to let Nathan finish off this one.
Okay, no, that's fine, but I just don't want big long speeches. Like mine, even there was too long for him.
You just said I could have as long as I want.
Nathan, you have to calm down.
You just said I could have
you have to calm down. It's okay. It's okay, Nathan.
I'll take as long as you want, and then I go 30.
We're giving you. Nathan, we're gonna give you the rest of your time.
If you're not gonna listen,
the rest of your time.
You're gonna say, all right, go ahead.
All right. We're giving you the rest of your time to finish that 2-minute statement up, Nathan. You've got about a minute left. So if you want to take that last 55 seconds and finish up that 2-minute interval, we'll let you do that, and then we'll go into that open discussion.
Yeah, so there is no 3-formula equation for mass for gravity. There's only a 2-body equation for mass. So to pretend that you have predictive models and you have all these mathematical equations that figure everything out, you are scientifically illiterate, Mark. That's why I've asked you 5 times for the 3 constituent parts of an experiment, and you keep deflecting and asking me, even though I've told you, why you don't fly off the flat stationary Earth. Now, you don't expect your dinner to fly off a flat stationary dinner plate. I don't know why you would expect humans to fly off a flat stationary Earth. You have been confused by mainstream science to think things fly off stationary flat objects and not spinning balls, okay? Now you asked about weight. Weight is not proof of mass attracting mass. It's also not proof of bendy space-time. But I want to answer your question.
It's the last point. So we'll kick it back over to Mark, and then I promise we'll come back to you to ask that question, Nathan.
Yeah, but we still don't have an answer. You got to give him more time here. Again, all he does is keep coming back and saying that we don't have anything that explains. So I just explained to him that if we live on a globe, we would expect, according to our mathematical models, we would expect 100 pounds at the poles on a scale. So I'm talking a bathroom scale, not a balance beam where you're comparing it to a standard where the standard is being affected by gravity and centrifugal force exactly the same. So I am asking him again, why is it that when we take 100 pounds from the poles and we go down to the equator, why is it 0.5 of a pound less? That's all I want answered. That's all. And then we'll go back and forth, one question for one answer. Why is it that my mathematical model works? And all the way around that arc, that mathematical model works perfectly. Is it a conspiracy built into scales? Tell us about it, Nathan. Because this is a fact. I'm sure you've looked it up. I just looked it up. My numbers are dead on. 100 pounds at the equator is 0.5 of a pound lighter than at the poles. Explain it.
My turn now for 2 minutes uninterrupted.
No, we're doing one question for one answer.
All right, great. So how long do I get to answer?
Whatever it takes you. That's how a question answer works.
Okay, well, you told me that last time, interrupted me 35 seconds into my answer.
Well, that's why you only answer one answer and you don't answer an answer with a question. I still have my standard questions to you. You can have the rest of the night. How do we stay on the pancake Earth? So you have us, and yes, humans do fly. And let me tell you where we fly. We fly in the ocean. When we go in water, we fly. You don't understand that? You don't understand that a penguin flies in water instead of air?
Oh, well,
you don't understand that?
I was always taught that humans and fish swim in the ocean.
Yeah, basically, yeah, you can put whatever word on it. It is, but yes, if we get ourselves into a dense enough median, yes, we are flying. I don't know what you're laughing about. Flying, swimming, whatever you want to call it. We are floating.
Okay.
So
well,
again,
let me tell you now why we don't fly off the pancake Earth. The atmosphere isn't water. Okay. You want to pretend you fly in water. The atmosphere is not water, Mark.
Yes,
Any more
it is.
questions you need explained?
Yes, it is.
All right, can I answer your weight question about why things weigh differently at the equator?
No, you just told me that the atmosphere is not water. I'm telling you it is water. It has a very high percentage of water.
I can drink the air? You're telling me I can drink this air? No, that doesn't, I've never drowned in the atmosphere, Mark. That's interesting. It doesn't seem like water. It seems like air.
Are you kidding me? You don't understand what humidity levels are? You don't understand that when you're somewhere where
water.
Anyways, you're cutting me off again. Do you not understand that when you're somewhere that's very dry, you need to drink? Are you back? Are you getting a toy, or what are you doing?
We've gotta go back to. We gotta let Mark finish this one, Nathan.
Oh.
I promise.
So at any
we'll
rate,
look at your toys later.
anybody out there that lives in a very wet place, place understands they don't need to drink as much as if they're, say, walking through the center of the Sahara. So yes, don't let Nathan tell you that our atmosphere doesn't have water in it.
I didn't
go
say
take a look. Oh, he's interrupting again.
Let's just let him finish, Nathan, and I promise we'll come right back to you.
I don't know if anyone noticed there, but he was pretending that he was sucking off the atmosphere and saying that that was him drinking. Yeah, that's exactly what we do. When we breathe, we take in water. Absolutely, we take in water out of the atmosphere. So you'll notice what Nathan does is he takes everything here to the extreme. Like if the earth is spinning, we must be flying off of it. No, we're not flying off of it. At the speed that we say that it spins, we would weigh exactly 0.4 of a pound due to centrifugal force left at the equator. And that's exactly what we observe. So I have continually asked Nathan what holds us down on this earth. And according to him, it's because we have this magical, I don't know what it is. Is it a dome, Nathan? Do we have a dome, or does the atmosphere on this pancake earth, does it go on forever? What stops it from spilling off the sides, Nathan? Maybe tell us that.
All right, can I get 2 minutes uninterrupted, please?
Yep.
Great. So you heard it here first, guys. Mark thinks the atmosphere is water, not air. He thinks it's water. And then he tries to straw man an argument and claims that I say there's no water in the atmosphere. Now, of course, The atmosphere has aqueous particles. They cause atmospheric magnification. Now, as an object gets farther and farther away, the atmosphere can magnify that object. And since it's smaller, the bottom can be obstructed. This is what they've been telling us for hundreds and hundreds of years is Earth curve. Turns out that effect changes hour to hour and day to day because it's based on atmospheric conditions and water in the atmosphere. Not the atmosphere being water, but water in the atmosphere, Mark. Okay, so you asked, do we have a dome? Well, I don't know the exact shape of the container, Mark, but you said earlier you can't have pressure around a tire rim without the tire. Okay, we got that out of the way at the very beginning. So if you can't have pressure around a tire rim without the tire, well, then the Earth can't have pressure around it in a vacuum without some type of container. Now, unfortunately for you, you're scientifically illiterate, you don't know what science is, you think things weighing differently in different parts of the Earth is proof you live on a spinning ball. That's hilarious. Now, Mark, will you admit, and I just need a quick concession, that air has weight also 14.7 psi at sea level? Yes or no?
According to you, it doesn't exist. No. You just told us. Told us that absolutely not. There's no atmosphere.
There's very real. You're gaslighting and deflecting. Does air have weight 14.7 psi or not?
Absolutely.
Excellent.
That's
great.
why what you are you going to let me answer?
Well, I'm still
that's why what you
I think this way differently. I just said I need a quick concession. That's either a yes or no. That's not anything else. I just need
I already told you what the PSI was.
All right, great. So you agree air has weight. Now, I don't know the shape of the container, and unfortunately for you, it's not proof of mass attracting mass or bendy space-time, but there's a very simple way that could work on a flat Earth. And that's simply that as you go towards the North Pole, you have more air above your bald head, Mark. So you weigh 0.4 of 1% more. Now, unfortunately, if we're on a ball spinning 1,000 miles an hour and you decrease the centrifugal force to, like, let's say 1/4 of a mile an hour, that's a 4,000 times reduction in the centrifugal force. So if you weigh 170 pounds at the equator, you would not weigh 0.4 of 1% heavier. You'd be 700,000 pounds at the North Pole as opposed to the equator, because things don't fly off stationary plates, Mark. They fly off spinning balls. Okay, so you can quit asking me why things fly off stationary flat objects, because that doesn't happen. It only happens on your model that you believe in, okay? Now, there is no scientific evidence for mass attracting mass or bendy space-time. That's why I've asked you 7 times for the 3 constituent parts of a scientific experiment. Now, can you answer that question, or do I have to ask you an 8th time?
Yeah, you'll have to just keep asking it, because I'm not even going to play into your stupidity. So here's where we're at now, James. Anybody, let me talk. So we're going to go to question and answer now. So anybody watching this debate, I would like Nathan to post his mathematical model that would show at the speed that we're turning on what we say the diameter of the Earth is, that we would weigh from 170 pounds at the North Pole, and he said up to 7,000 pounds. That's what he just said. We would weigh 7,000 pounds at the poles if we weighed 170 at the equator. So this debate is done. He's stunned. He doesn't know how to do math, and he has no clue what he's talking about, because our mathematical predictions are absolutely perfect. And that's what no, I'm done. Like I said. So what's that?
You just said I don't know math and I can't explain anything. Well, if there's a 4,000 times reduction in centrifugal force and someone weighs 170 pounds.
Where do you get 4,000?
I said earlier, if you're moving 1,000 miles an hour at the equator and you reduce the speed towards the North Pole, You go towards the North Pole where you're moving slower, like 100 feet from the North Pole, like let's say you're moving a quarter of a mile an hour. You're not moving 1,000 miles an hour, you're moving a quarter. That's a 4,000 time reduction. So if you take the number I gave you, 700,000, and divide it by a 170-pound man, there's your 4,000 time reduction in centrifugal force. So you said the debate's over. I don't know math. Just wanted to clarify. I do know math. I look forward to all.
Wow. Does everyone stop? I want everyone to consider that now. So what he's saying, oh, he's got his toys out again. What he's saying is that all of our weight is because of centrifugal force.
No, the Earth.
So he's interrupting again. What he said he never does.
Let's give him a chance.
Oh, he's interrupting again. What he says he never does. Okay.
Let's give him a chance.
So at any rate,
we'll come right back
our
to you, Nathan.
mathematical, and I will post for you exactly what we would expect a spinning Earth, what we would expect the reduction in weight to be, not mass, in weight as we work our way out to the equator, and it works perfectly through the arc. We will post that math, and we will see why it is that nobody claims that we weigh 7,000 pounds at, or whatever this clown's numbers were. That this is absolutely insanity. Like, this guy just makes these stupid claims. Like, he says that I said we can't have pressure around a rim without a tire, and yet I'm the one that said no, it's 14.65 psi. What are you talking about? That is exactly what we'd expect. So instead of sitting there pretending you know how to do math, why don't you go on Google and take a look and see why it is that we sell gold compared to a known weight, and we do it on a balance beam? Because 100 pounds of gold at the North Pole compared to what it's worth at the equator, guess what? A half a pound of gold is a hell of a lot of money. It's over $10,000. Do you realize that? Oh, I know you don't like listening to anything. So what he hasn't been able to do tonight, and then we're going to go to question and answer, because he's still interrupting. So what we're going to do is not once tonight did he tell us what's holding us down on this pancake Earth. He says that there's some container, but we don't know what it is. Apparently 14 psi. So let's think about this, people. All we need to do to figure out what we would weigh if the atmosphere is 14 psi at, let's say, sea level, is we would have to measure exactly how much air we displace, and that is exactly what we would weigh according to his model. So let's do that math. Let's see if that works. If he's right, then he's right. Then we don't have gravity. We have displacement, and that's what we weigh. So that makes sense. We can test that with math. So that's good. So actually, everything we talked about tonight, I'm going to go back. I'm going to rewatch this whole thing, and I'm going to go through, and maybe I can get Professor Dave to go over some of this stuff with me, and we'll come back with all the mathematical models. Maybe Nathan can tell us what this container is that holds this atmosphere in place so it doesn't spill over the edge of his, I don't want to call it a pancake, but I don't know what else. I don't know. What is it? A square Earth? Does it have a bottom? What stops stuff from falling off? Okay, I think Nathan's getting tired, James. So let's go to question answers then.
We can jump into the Q&A. Nathan, to be fair, if you want maybe 60 seconds, because that was maybe 2 minutes or so from Mark, we can give you 60 seconds. Otherwise, if you want to defer, we can go right into the Q&A.
Yeah, I mean, I've asked him 8 times what the scientific method is, because I base all my research on observations and real science. And I haven't got an answer for what real science is from Mark, because he is scientifically illiterate. Now, he said
to put together an experiment and test it and then compare.
Let's see, just to...
Did he not just ask me a question? I'm telling him exactly what it is. We put together an experiment.
I don't know if it was rhetorical. I think it was maybe rhetorical.
Oh, okay, let him go ahead. Yeah, I understand the scientific method if that's what he's asking.
Well, if you understand it, you can't tell me what it is. I've asked you 8 times.
where we put together an experiment, we guess what our findings are going to be, and then we compare our findings to our original hypothesis. Is that what you're asking me?
What are the three constituent parts for a
I just told you. Any
experiment?
scientific experiment, we put together our experiment, we test it, and then we compare our results to what our hypothesis was. What do you think they are?
So the three constituent parts are: you do the experiment.
Nope. You plan your experiment. You plan it, right? You test. So then you do empirical, and then you do a comparison of what you expected to have happen. Exactly. That's how science works. So what's your answer?
So that's how theoretical science works, is you make predictions and then run tests. But how real science works is you make an observation first. Now, once you have an observation, Mark, you can say, what is the cause of this effect? Then you can work out a hypothesis with control variables to determine, is this the cause of the effect? Then you do your experiments, Mark. That is the science.
That's wrong. Method. That's not how we do experiments. No, we don't observe things first. We can imagine things first. We can come up with ideas. We don't have to observe anything. So what we do is we come up with an idea. So we sit around one day and we go to ourselves, hey, I wonder if this Earth could possibly be a flat pancake. So then we set out to test it, and then we check our results, and our results always tell us, no, it's a globe. So what you're doing is you're just trying to find a way so what are you saying? That unless we observe something, we can't scientifically test it? Is that what you're saying? So people just can't come up with ideas. So let's say the electromagnetic force, where we spun a magnet. What are you doing? Pulling your head?
You asked me if we need to observe something to research it, and my answer is
so electromagnetic forces. We do?
You have to make an observation in order to conduct an experiment, because part of the experiment is manipulating the cause of the effect to determine if that's actually the cause of the effect, Mark. So if you don't have an observation you're observing, how are you going to manipulate the cause of an effect you don't observe? How do you?
That's a really good point. That's a really good point, Nathan.
You can't manipulate the cause of an effect you're not observing. So
no, you're absolutely right.
Illiterate, Mark.
Yeah, no, I am illiterate, Nathan. You're absolutely right. I guess I know I am scientifically literate. So I guess one day, what did we do? We walked along and there was a coil of, say, copper with a magnet spinning inside of it. And so then we got to observe it, and then we understood the magnetic field and electromagnetic forces. Or do you think someone came up with the idea, hey, if we possibly spin a magnetic field inside of a copper coil, we may be able to induce a voltage, a flow? What do you think? So did we observe it, or did we observe it first?
I'm so glad you asked, because one of the videos on my channel is Professor Dan Lanthrop saying that they have never replicated or duplicated the dynamo threshold. Now, molten metal reaches a Curie point, which is much lower than the temperature at the center of the Earth, Mark. So you're claiming that, like, you have all this science, but Professor Dan Lanthrop claims you can't have a dynamo threshold on a spinning ball where electromagnetic currents just come to fruition out of nowhere. They've never duplicated that. That's never been replicated. So you have a cartoon religion where you think the interior core of the Earth is hotter than the surface of the sun, Mark.
No, you're absolutely right, Nathan.
Do you believe that the core of the Earth is hotter than the surface of the sun, Mark?
Yeah, absolutely, Nathan. You're dead on there. You're really dead on. Do you know what happens, Nathan? Do you know what happens if you take a disc of aluminum and you spin it between magnets? Do you know that produces eddy currents that we can actually see, and we can actually physically measure? Do you know how much power we can absorb with two magnets with a spinning disc of aluminum inside of it? You have any idea how hot it gets? No, I bet you don't, because you've got some professor that says that there's no way that the molten earth is a real thing. But again, tens of thousands of scientists say it is a real thing. So, like you say, we don't really care about your scientist. I'll flush Neil deGrasse Tyson. I don't give a shit what he says. I don't study him. I don't care. I listen to him. He's an interesting guy, but he's not my God. You see, that's the funny thing. People in science don't have gods, Nathan. But anyways, James, we are going down a rabbit hole again. Let's get into question and answer, and we'll test all this mathematically. And I hope Professor Dave is actually listening, because I hope he can help me run through some of the mathematical models and the stuff that we've talked about tonight. But Nathan basically disproved himself when he said that if we're a spinning ball, we would expect to fly off at the equator. So he is absolutely right. His math is wrong. We wouldn't expect to fly off. The math tells us that we would be 0.4 of a pound lighter per 100 pounds. And guess what? It's exactly what we are. Just because in his imagination he pictures us flying off, doesn't matter what he pictures. Math tells us what the force would be centrifugally, and it's exactly dead on. So let's go to question and answer, unless he wants to now just finish her up.
Yeah, I get to respond. Thank you very much, Mark. I appreciate you.
We'll give you 60 seconds, Nathan, just because we don't want it to go too long.
Yeah, of course. So he keeps bringing up this like flying off thing. Guys, humans have never been observed on a spinning ball. So yes, I would submit if humans lived on a spinning ball, guys, they would fly off. Now he claims we have all this math and models, makes predictions, but unfortunately for Mark, I've asked him 8, I'll ask him 9 times what the 3 constituent parts of a scientific experience. He didn't know, guys. He said, first, you conjure up ideas in your mind, then you do an experiment. How do you do an experiment on an observation you conjured in your mind? This is how scientifically illiterate the globe cult zombies are.
30 seconds.
Thank you so much for playing that, Mark. I really appreciate you coming here. It's been a blast. Question and answers. Let's rock and roll.
We will jump into it, folks. Thanks so much, and appreciate all of your questions. Want to remind you, both of the speakers, I put their links in the description, folks. So that way, if you're listening and you're like, I want more, you can hear plenty more from these guys. And so with that, we will jump into these. Want to say as well, we really appreciate all of your questions, folks. Even just thanks for hanging out with us here. It's always fun. We hope you feel welcome, whether you be flat earth, globe earth, you name it. No matter what walk of life you're from, we're glad you're with us. And with that, thanks for your super chat. Maynard Saves, who says, how'd the White Cliffs of Dover form on a flat Earth?
The White Cliffs of Dover, Earth obviously has topography. What I'm trying to figure out is how curvature manifests on our flat Earth, because it's not observable. Been looking for it for 5 years. 9 states and 2 continents, guys. I haven't found it. Large bodies of water don't curve. So yeah, we have hills and cliffs and valleys. That's not Earth curve.
Gotcha. Thanks for your super chat from Mothra J Disco, who says, does Hovind know that you stole his SpongeBob bit?
I don't know. I'll have to text him later and ask him if he knows I stole SpongeBob.
Gotcha. By the way, folks, rumor is that it's someone, an atheist, reached out to me, and they're trying to set up a debate with Kent Hovind on Modern-DayDebate. And so the gentleman who reached out to me requesting it is trying to work that out with Kent. So it's a possibility. We don't know, though, as we've had a couple of little squabbles in the past. So Joshua Larson, thanks for your super chat, who says, the earth is hollow, you wiener. Gotcha. Thanks for that, Joshua. Only sheeple can't see. Thanks for your super chat, who said, why would anyone bother to debate with Nathan after he was demolished by Fight the Flat Earth? Flat Earth has no answers to simple observations ever.
Next.
Gotcha. Thanks for your super chat, Irish Demon, who says, Nathan, explain the email from the BOMBER pilot. Ha.
I like how you did that, James. Yeah, I got a random email from a pilot, and I won't say it, but he told me that he thinks it's flat. He told me some of his superiors were fired for coming out and talking about flat Earth. And I don't know, it was just an email. I don't have any evidence that he's actually in the military or anything, but I thought it was an interesting email, and I shared it. So that's it.
Gotcha. Thanks for your super chat from our dearest friend, Brad Dubai. Let me know if I'm mispronouncing that. Appreciate it. They said, we still have yet to see a coherent flat Earth model.
What do you mean? Yeah, I'm a flat Earth model. Have you seen me with my shirt off? I mean, come on. I'll model for you guys if you want. But the globe has no model. There is no curvature. The Earth doesn't spin. If you're still begging for models in 2020, you're scientifically illiterate crybaby on the globe side.
Gotcha. Next up, appreciate your, by the way, turn my camera off on Zoom just because you had some dropped frames, guys. Thanks, Razark9 Flat Hard Tear Drinker. Thanks for your super chat, who said, Nathan, why does your echo chamber Facebook group block and mute anyone who disagrees with you, even when they're not trolling? Your group equals North Korea.
Hey, I appreciate that someone would actually believe in a few short years we'd get 131,000 members enforcing rules like no cursing and no insults, but also blocking anyone that doesn't blindly believe everything I tell them. That's so funny. That's ridiculous. It's never been my message. We don't block people who have different beliefs. We require them to support their claims with evidence. If you can't show us proof of Earth curve or spinning Earth, but you make claims in the group, call that preaching. Not science, it's religious, and you guys can get out.
Next up, Maynard Saves, thanks for your super chat, who said, why do maps from the 1500s, and then in parentheses, Piri Reis, depict Antarctica as a landmass and not a wall, long before NASA as a conspiracy theory?
Yeah, so every ancient civilization that was making maps used flat maps. It was only recently they started turning the flat maps into a globe. They've also celestial navigated for thousands of years using the sky as a map because we are not blasting through cartoon space. The Earth doesn't move and space isn't real.
Gotcha. Thanks so much for your super chat from John Rapp. Good to see you again. Says, so Nathan, your presentation is all about you?
No, my presentation was about how if the Earth was spinning, it would either move as one cohesive body or it would move separately. And then I also talked about how you couldn't have gas pressure without a container and large bodies of water do not curve. So I don't know what you're talking about me for.
Gotcha. Joshua Larson, thanks for your super chat, who says, I'm seeing a lot of fedoras in this chat. Is that, I don't see how you see fedoras. Is that a username? Kango24, thanks for your super chat, who said, Nathan, why do you do this? You have been thoroughly debunked so many times. My favorite is Baldy Cat's, quote, debate, where he showed you know nothing.
Yeah, you can keep believing that, but you keep believing that I've lost debates, but I test Earth myself. And I've had 3 Nikons. We've done helicopter tests, infrared tests, laser experiments, mirror reflection tests. You can look at a specular reflection. Large bodies of water don't curve, and the truth is incontrovertible. You guys think I don't care about my reputation, and I think I'm just saying things to look like a flat Earth idiot? 1, you don't know me, and 2, you don't have a clue how human psychology works. I would not be out here telling you guys the Earth is flat for funsies, okay? I want to be a globe earther. I want to believe that our tax money is going towards space and research, but it's not. So I have to tell people the truth, and that's what I'm doing.
Gotcha.
Can I answer that? Hey,
Yep.
Hey, James.
Yes, we have. Go ahead.
Since I haven't had a question, what I would like to propose here is why don't we start a GoFundMe? I just figured out an exact way. He's had a lot of questions, so let me do this. Let's start a GoFundMe page for Nathan. Let's send him to, and he doesn't need to go to the top. We don't need to kill him here, but let's send him to a very high mountain. It doesn't matter. It could be in the States. It doesn't even have to be Mount Everest, but I'll put some money into this. I'll honestly put $100 into this. If anyone else wants to help me start a GoFundMe page, he should be able to go to the top of that mountain. And there's plenty of them in the United States, probably close to where he lives. And he should be able to take a telescope and find us all the cities all the way across the United States, all the way down into South America. As a matter of fact, he should even be able to see England. So let's do it. Let's put the money, let's put this to an end. There you go, Nathan. I just came up with a scientific method that matches my method. I didn't observe anything. I had a thought in my head. Hey, I know how to test this. Let's go to the highest point we can find on Earth. Let's even go to the top of the CN Tower. That's plenty high if it's flat. We should be able to see every city on this Earth with a huge telescope. Let's do it. It'll put it to end. There's the 3 science. And hey, guess what? Your third portion of your scientific method, if you don't see all the cities, you're wrong. We're right. Done.
Gotcha. Thanks for your super chat from Stupid Whore Energy. She strikes again. Says, what the heck is astroarchaeology?
Well, they've been lining up megalithic structures with the sky, because the sky is a map. That's why we have constellations. That's why we have time lapses and a stationary pole star. It's called Polaris. So astroarchaeology is building buildings, lining them up to our sky map, and they still work today, ladies and gentlemen, because we are not moving 500,000 miles an hour through the solar system. That is a soul lure system for luring your soul away. Probably why our friend here, Mark, isn't a believer.
Gotcha.
Just so you know, James, he's wrong. The things that we built 2,000 years ago no longer line up. Just like the North Star is no longer the same North Star. Look it up.
Gotcha.
They no longer line up.
Thanks for your super chat, Mike Billars, who says, Nathan, ever tried to build a GPS receiver from scratch? Do it yourself, software or hardware? You have to use Sphere Earth. I'll walk you through everything if you want.
Yeah, no, when building GPS, you do not take into account Earth curve or Earth rotation or magic gravity at a distance. You're simply using temporary helium balloons, fiber optic submarine communication cables, which connect over 200 countries and move 98% of the information. Wow. And they also have drones and modified U-2 spy planes and ground-based towers, ladies and gentlemen. So,
gotcha. King024, thanks for your super chat, who said, Nathan, why is the pressure differential larger between the base on a mountain and the top than space and the edge of space?
Yeah, well, space is fake. We haven't taken any measurements from there, but barometric pressure can decrease with altitude simply based on elements that are in the air. I mean, if you look at a periodic table, hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, neon, sodium, magnesium, aluminum, silicon, phosphorus, sulfur, they line up based on their relative density to one another. And so, yes, the atmosphere is constantly moving around. It's closed and dynamic, but that's how we have a pressure gradient. Y'all can also look into fluid statics and how they will separate into flat and level layers in a static system. So, good question.
Gotcha. Thanks for your super chat from dearest friend Outlaw Jer, who says, Natalie, what brain program do you recommend to get sick trout shoulders like that?
Sick trout shoulders? I don't know what you mean there, but yeah, the brain is a pharmacopoeia, can produce steroids. That's why last year I grew an inch taller at 34 years old. I knew I'd do it. I did it in about 3 to 6 months. I measured everything, documented everything. But yeah, not many people out there saying they're growing an inch in their 30s, are there, James? Next question.
First time I've heard it. RangerMan9404, thanks for your super chat, who said, Nathan, are you really comparing a ball to the Earth?
Well, that's what you guys believe it is. So yeah, sometimes I do compare a ball to the Earth, but it's much more analogous to a flat stationary dinner plate or pizza or coin.
Gotcha. Thanks for your super chat. Shannon Nemi, let me know if I mispronounced that, said, Nathan, correcting you is not important enough. I just want to say bless your heart.
Thanks so much for caring about my heart.
King024, thanks for your super chat, said, question for Nathan. You talk about fluid dynamics a lot and how they work. Please explain what the Navier-Stokes equations describe.
I don't know what the Navier-Stokes equations are, to be honest. Go ahead and email me, flatearthflyers@gmail.com. I'll give you a good answer.
Gotcha. Thanks for your super chat. Mark Dietrich Cochrane, appreciate it. Didn't see a question, but if you have one, just tag me. Let me know if you want to attach it. Only Sheeple Can't See, thanks for your super chat, said, I find it comical that a minion like you, Rockia Life, thinks they understand. They're coming after Rockia Life, hanging out in the chat. They said, Flat Earth is out of time and answers to remain a topic to care about. Epic fail. Well, Rockia Life, they're coming at you. And Flat Earth, thanks for your super chat, said he has the physics comprehension of a child. Are they talking about? Oh, leave Mark alone. Come on, you guys. All right, I'm just kidding. Okay, thanks. By the way, you guys, I'm telling you, you guys think I'm making this up? The link in the description of Mark's channel is basically like the real life Tiger King. Mark has the cool, it's an absolutely epic channel where you, like, I'm not joking, you will see a video with Mark like petting lions and like walking among them. It is really cool. So want to let you know about that. But only, let's see, and Flat Earth.
And my wife, James, and my wife.
Oh, that's excellent. I only got to see one video, so forgive me for missing you, Tammy. Appreciate that. And next up, and Flat Earth. Thanks. Oh, we got that one. Excalibur, thanks for your super chat, said Nathan is fake, like championship wrestling and Jeranism. Also, it's all about YouTube hits, and Kent Hovind is his trainer.
Dude, you guys think I care about YouTube hits? YouTube demonetized, deletes. I've had 2 videos deleted this week with no strikes, guys. You think I make videos to make money? You are freaking lost in the sauce.
Gotcha. Appreciate your super chat from our dearest friend Kango24, who says, Nathan, you accept there is atmospheric pressure gradient, correct? So what height does the atmospheric pressure gradient stop?
Never. All gas pressure is contained. The objects inside the gas molecules will either move until they hit an object or bounce off one another. So this is simple gas pressure 101, guys. You can't have gas pressure without a container. Gas moves in all directions, not just down towards your cartoon baller.
Gotcha. And
hey, James, can I take a shot at that?
Yes.
So what he just did again is absolutely explain why the atmosphere spins with the Earth, and there is no drag put upon it whatsoever. So again, he just explained it perfectly. That's right. Molecules will run into molecules and push them along until something acts upon it to stop it. And in outer space, there's nothing. Like I said, put bearings on that bucket, Nathan, and give it a go. Put it up on your YouTube channel.
You just said it goes until it stops and it hits something in space.
Let's see. What was it?
There is nothing in space.
I'm going to give
vacuum.
Bounce off of the gas would disperse rapidly. That's my point. Thank you very much.
But it doesn't.
See, I'm going to give Nathan the last word just because the super chat was aimed at him. Monkey Cat Pat, thanks for your super chat, who said, well done, Mark. Too bad Nathan will just deny everything. Gotcha. Thanks for your super chat. Kango24 strikes again, says, Nathan, unlike you, vacuums don't suck. Oh,
yes, you do. Actually, just to correct you, James, they have a 6-foot wall, concrete reinforced, that backs up the 2 feet thick aluminum wall they have for the vacuum at the Sandusky Research Center, which is not even as strong as space. It's half the intensity or torr value of space. So yeah, it definitely would suck if you tried to stand in there and literally rip you apart. So whatever, Glover, keep believing what you want, dude.
Hey,
Gotcha.
Nathan, what's the maximum vacuum you can have on Earth?
Well, the Sandusky Research Center is the strongest torr value that we've been able to replicate, and it's about half as strong as you believe space is. But there's definitely a container. It's 6 feet thick concrete and 2 feet thick aluminum.
Okay, so you do understand the strongest vacuum we can have in the atmosphere is the 14.6 psi, right? You do understand that a vacuum is 0.
Gas pressure, 14.7 psi, is not a vacuum. A vacuum's defined as the absence of gas pressure.
That's right. So the maximum vacuum we can have in an atmosphere is 1 atmosphere. You do understand that, right? There's no such thing as the vacuum cleaner that can suck by a negative value or get down to 0 psi. You do understand that, right? So when you talk So when you talk about this 6 feet of concrete with 2 feet of aluminum, you do understand that all that has to do with is how many square inches that 14 PSI is pushing on, pounds per square inch. So you do not need that much concrete, for example, to have a zero vacuum in something small. But yes, when you have a great big long container, it needs to be very thick. You do understand that, right?
Yeah. The atmosphere has to be contained, vacuums have to be contained. Otherwise, the gas would fill the space. Now, how do you create a vacuum, Mark? You suck the air out. So you
No, you don't.
Oh,
no,
really?
No, no, you don't.
How do you create a vacuum?
How would you create a vacuum? Go out into space, have a container, same the way that we do the.
Going
into
space isn't creating a vacuum. I said you.
Are you okay?
A vacuum by sucking the air out.
How okay, clown. Okay, so do something for me when you get a chance. Okay, take a bottle at the. You don't even want to hear it.
A bottle.
So take a bottle at sea level. Now take it underwater. Guess what? It won't crush. Try taking it down 500, 600, 700 feet. You understand how it works?
That's not creating a vacuum, Mark.
It isn't.
Okay.
So are you telling me the pressure? Okay, I understand. You have no clue what you're talking about. Okay.
Why are you bringing it up? I asked how you create a vacuum. I said you suck the air out. You said no. So
no, you don't. You don't have to suck air out. Okay, no, you don't.
Next up, we do have to go back to the questions, gentlemen.
It literally,
gentlemen, we got to go back to the. We'll let you have the last word because the super chat was targeting you, Nathan, and then we got to go to the next one.
Yeah, you're so scientific, illiterate, Mark. You think going to space is creating your own vacuum? That's not what I said. You
never said that.
Deflector and gaslighter.
Never said that.
Gotcha. Thanks so much. Appreciate, by the way, thanks new patrons Timothy Foster and Elizabeth Schneider. We appreciate you becoming patrons for the channel. That support means a lot. We are excited about the future and trying to get new guests. Next up, let's see. Maynard Saves, thanks for your super chat, who said, Natalie, according to your own personal experiments in math, can you give us the dimensions on the flat Earth?
Yep, I can. The Earth has zero curvature, and the Earth doesn't spin at all. Those are the dimensions. I don't know where the edges are. If you're asking where the edges are, the edges have never been observed. Also the same on the globe. Edges have never been observed. Nobody knows where the edge of space is that they blindly believe in. I don't know where the edge of the flat Earth that I have tested and has no measurable curvature is.
Gotcha. Thanks for your super chat from Angel Garay. Appreciate it. They said, where is the pressure gradients inside a tire?
A tire is not a closed dynamic system. A tire is a closed static system. So it's not analogous to our atmosphere or the Earth. Man, these globers, dude, are so scientifically illiterate. This is easy, bro. Keep them coming, guys. Keep them coming.
Gotcha. Appreciate your super chat from RangerMan9404, who says, interruptions? Nathan is projecting like a drive-in theater. Next up, thanks for your super chat, Razork9 Flat-Hard Tear Drinker, who says, Nathan, can you explain the Sagnac effect?
Yeah, of course. The Michelson-Morley test was trying to figure out if the Earth rotated around the sun. They found out that the measurements didn't add up at all. And what we were experiencing with the light interferometer was light moving, which is what the Sagnac effect is. And yes, light moves. If you look up, you can observe, take a time lapse of the sky. If you don't believe me, I've done over 100. The sky moves. Lights in the sky move. So the Sagnac effect is a real effect that does take place, but it's not because of any type of Earth rotation at all. The Earth is stationary.
Gotcha. Thanks so much for your super chat. Kango24, who says, Nathan, why don't the oceans rush to fill the lower pressure area of the sky above them?
Because the oceans are comprised of water, and water is more dense than the air above it.
Gotcha. Robert Williams, thanks for your super chat, who said 30,000 hours of flying time. Nathan can't think or math, at least when it fits his agenda.
Another ad hominem insult. Federal Airline Administration trains pilots on a target generation facility. It is a flat Earth simulator with non-rotating Earth that negates a gravity vector. Cool story, pilot.
Next up, Arn Rurvik. Thanks for your super chat. Who said, question for Nathan. What's keeping the high air pressure in your garden from equalizing with the low pressure on top of Mount Rainier?
I already went over that, how they're easily explained by different density in the molecules in the air. Check out a periodic table of elements, bud.
Gotcha. Thanks for your super chat from our dearest friend, Dan, who says, Nathan, what is a single piece of evidence that would totally convince you that the Earth is actually round?
Well, I think the Earth is round. So you're geometrically illiterate. You got to go look at a pizza or a coin. Those are round and flat. Next
Gotcha.
question.
Excalibur, thanks for your super chat, who said, shooting east, a 50 caliber bullet will drop by 2 inches because the Earth is spinning to the west. Has nothing to do with gyro or euro.
Gyroscopic recession.
Thank you. Nathan is ignorant.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So there's a $20,000 challenge. Michael Angel on Facebook put it out. I know he has money. I've stayed with him in Dallas, Texas. Really nice guy. Does really well doing roofing. Guys, check him out. $20,000 on the table if you believe in this hocus pocus Coriolis effect, which is the atmosphere moving separately from the Earth. Mark said that doesn't happen about 20 times during the debate. So there's like big discrepancies here with the globe model. Good stuff.
Gotcha. Thanks, Jen S., for your super chat, who said, good news all, Jesus lives and he died for you because he loved you so much. Accept him as your savior and follow him to know true joy.
As far as the east is from the west, so are your transgressions. Psalm 103:4.
Next up, Los V. Thanks for your super chat, who said, Mark making this look easy, dominating this debate. Debate Wotan, please. Got a fan out there, Mark.
I have mathematical models. That's really what it comes down to. And I never said that the atmosphere can't, obviously the atmosphere can move independent of the Earth. See, he comes up with these straw men. I've never, ever, ever said that. Go back and listen to what I said. Of course we see wind, but we know where wind comes from. No, we do not have a Earth atmosphere that we would expect to have a drag put upon it by outer space. All our mathematical models line up absolutely perfect. It's up to Nathan to show us where it doesn't work. It's called math.
Gotcha. Thanks for your super chat. Appreciate it from our dear friend, Michael Dresden. Not surprisingly, our friendly neighborhood troll has arrived. He says, in all caps, of course, Nathan's dominating. Next up, John Rapp actually responds to Michael Dresden in another super chat saying, Michael Dresden bowing down to a clown? Typical. Oh, snap. You guys are, the chat is, you guys are in a brawl tonight. Call the hospital. Razark9 Flat-Tard Tear Drinker says, thanks for your super chat. And they said, call the hospital, call the police. Nathan, do you need ice for that burn? Oh, and you also interrupted several times. Nathan, I can see your reflection in the window.
Cool story. I thought he was done speaking when I interrupted, guys. I honestly wasn't trying to interrupt.
Gotcha. Thanks for your super chat. Brad Dubai. Thanks. They said Nathan does not even understand the heliocentric model or physics or reality for that matter, or why his coloring books have numbers between the lines.
More ad hominem insults. I mean, I'll challenge you to pretend that you know more than me about the globe, which is 24,901 miles in circumference, 234,000 miles from the moon, 93 million miles an hour, 93 million miles from the sun. I mean, 8 inches per mile squared of drop. I know all the math, all the physics. It's all a joke. There's nobody more knowledgeable you're going to find about this cartoon globe religion than right here. So...
Gotcha.
Hello.
Thanks for your super chat from P. Barnes, who says, respect your passion, Nathan, but you really need to start researching the concepts you hear in previous discussions.
Test Earth yourself. See what you can prove. That's what I've been saying for 5 years, guys. You don't need to research. You need to go outside.
Gotcha. Thanks for your super chat. Excalibur, who says, Nathan doesn't understand what a fictitious effect is. I'm an aerospace engineer, and we certainly take into consideration of curvature. What an idiot.
Fictitious means not real. Thank you very much.
Gotcha. Thanks for your super chat. Ranger Man 9404 says Nathan's brightness is way down. Next up, Cal's Kingdom. Thanks for your super chat. Who says Nathan equals purposefully ignorant, bad faith actor. Are you triggered yet? Okay, gotcha.
I've never heard insults from globe zombies. Oh, what am I gonna do, guys? Oh, does my mom still love me? Oh no.
Gotcha. Happy Dude, thanks for your super chat, who says Nathan, in all caps, crushing the globe religion. Gotcha. So you have a fan out there. It's let's see, Tinker Phil, thanks for your super chat, who said, Nathan, do a search for long-range artillery and the Coriolis effect. They have to take it into account.
Daryl Lee is one of the moderators for the official Flat Earth and Globe discussion. He shot artillery for the U.S. military for almost 10 or 15, 20 years. I saw him speak at Take on the World. It was incredible. He talked about how they only move the gun on an X and a Y axis. It's basically a flat Earth, and they never adjust for Coriolis. That guy's a clown, dude. Earth doesn't rotate under hot air balloons, helicopters, artillery bullets, insects, smoke, balls you throw in the air. Nothing, because Earth doesn't rotate. Next.
Gotcha. John Rapp, thanks for your super chat, who said, danger, Will Robinson, danger. Beware the clown. Next up, thanks for your, I like the pop culture reference. Excalibur, thanks for your super chat, says, both are wrong. 50 caliber pointing east will drop 2 inches. Sniper computer takes care of that. That is the reason snipers don't even know about it. Bad info on both sides. You guys have got a critic.
No, what I said is I shoot out 1,000 meters, 1 kilometer, and it's so small we don't take it into account with a 223 bullet. You start getting into BMGs that are half inch, 13 millimeter. Yeah, you are talking. You got to start to calculate for it, because your center of mass from the center of the rotation of the bullet is increased a lot more, and then you do start to get gyroscopic precession that will start to push it down. So no, that's not what I said. I said I shoot a 223, which is 22 caliber, which is 0.22 of an inch.
So Earth rotation's only affecting certain guns and certain bullets, but not all of them. You heard it here, ladies and gentlemen.
Gotcha.
Yeah, exactly. As you get into a bigger bullet, it has a higher moment of inertia on the outside than it does on the inside, obviously. Like I tried to explain to you before, the speed of something rotating. So yes, you take a big wheel spinning at the exact same RPM and try to knock it off its axis compared to a small wheel. I hope you can understand when I put things into very, very simplistic models for you. I'm trying to make it easy.
Yeah, no, but all those things are spinning at first.
Okay, we've got to go. We've got to keep moving. Thanks for your super chat. Sphere itself says, James, your channel is better than this. Nathan is so disrespectful. He's making a mockery of what it is usually a great show. Next up, thanks for your super chat. Sphere itself says, oh yeah, being so sexy, James. Thanks for that. Like I said, Sphere itself, the 65-year-old postman from Alabama. He's our biggest supporter. Stupid Horror Energy, thanks for your super chat. She says, Nathan, can you quote a Bible verse that teaches a flat earth?
Yeah, of course. I don't know if you've ever opened a Bible, but go to the very beginning. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was without form and void. Darkness moved over the deep, and the Spirit of God moved over the face of the waters. Look into water. It's a natural level.
Gotcha. Thanks so much. Cal's Kingdom, thanks for your super chat, who said, is Nathan aware of what psychological literature says about conspiracy theorists? About how they just want to feel special? Curious, you little snowflake. I added the snowflake part.
Yeah, because being ostracized and criticized and losing a 6-figure job with Legal Shield makes me feel special. Good one, dude. Thank you so much. Gotcha. Brilliant.
Martin C., thanks for your super chat, who said, Nathan, thank you so much for misunderstanding how a 12-hour clock works. It made my evening.
Mark said that it moves at twice the speed of the Earth. The Earth moves 1,000 miles an hour at the equator. So I asked him, does the hand on a clock move 2,000 miles an hour? And then he basically just insulted me. And you guys can go watch the replay. That was hilarious.
Gotcha. Thanks for your super chat from Timothy Foster. Says, Nathan, if there is no Coriolis effect, why do hurricanes spin counterclockwise in the northern hemisphere and clockwise in the southern hemisphere?
Good question. I mean, I get this question almost every debate. You must have never seen the debates I've done in the past, but it's called an electromagnetic wake. As the sun and moon move through the firmament above our atmosphere, they have an effect on the atmosphere. That's why the atmosphere is closed and dynamic. But if you just run your hand through a bathtub with oil on the top or through a pool and observe the shadows at the bottom, the vortexes that come off of your hand spin in opposite directions, very analogous to the sun and moon moving between the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn and causing hurricanes and storm patterns to spin in opposite directions.
Gotcha. Thanks for your super chat. James Harvey, who says Psalm 104:5. Thanks for your super chat. Only Sheeple Can't See says, I challenge you to a debate, Matthew Moore. Someone in the live chat. I love it. The debate challenges are always exciting.
4 or 5 is the earth is on foundations and will never move. I have it memorized. Just wanted to share that.
Gotcha. Thank you. And BT Dubs, thanks for your super chat, who says, Nathan, fame doesn't equal truth. Neil deGrasse Tyson said flat earthers prove public schools are failing humanity. The most famous scientist said it's so that proves you fail at science, not the proof you give.
He just said fame doesn't equal truth and then quoted the most famous scientists in the world as if everything he said is true. That was hilarious. Good job, Glover.
Gotcha. Thanks for your super chat from dearest friend and Flat Earth, who says, Nathan, I'm going to win. Also, Nathan gets destroyed. Next up, thanks. Nathan is not amused. James Harvey, thanks for your super chat, who says, Job 38:14. Next up, Happy Dude, thanks for your super chat, who says, let's see, I think that was, let's see, I don't understand. Did I miss we had a critic, our dearest friend, Excalibur tonight. But don't worry, we like the critics. Don't give Excalibur a hard time. We need critics. We don't want to become an echo chamber. Let's see. Excalibur, thanks for your super chat, who said, my point exactly. He, as in James, cares about being Jerry Springer's show, no more, no less. Well, that's one way to interpret it, but I would just tell you folks, I know that sometimes we get, I mean, you'd be surprised how often I get like messages, emails, Facebook, whatever, about platforming controversial people. And even I think a couple weeks ago, someone saying, we're going to boycott modern day debate. It's like, well, you know what, folks? We are following through with the promise about being tolerant. We will platform virtually any position. It's about true tolerance, folks. In academia, it's a bad joke. It's like, oh, we're all about tolerance. And then a lot of times there are certain people that won't be allowed to speak in certain places. We'll let anybody speak here. If you don't like it, if you want to threaten us like, oh, I'm going to unsubscribe, I won't give you super chats anymore. That's okay, folks. It's not why I'm doing it. I'm doing it for the very same reason when we started. We want to have an equal playing field for these big questions in life. So with that, thanks for your super chat. Let's see, Jen S. giving pushback to, maybe indirectly, says, thanks for your super chat. Jen says, James, thanks for not caving in when people pressure you to not platform controversial people. Appreciate it, Jen. Appreciate that. Next up, thanks for your super chat from, let's see, Mike Billers says, Mark, you do talk way too long and Nathan's a child. Jeez, they're just taking jabs at both of you guys. Let's see. Thanks for your super chat from Slickwid Nick. Said, there is an atmospheric gradient. Why don't things fall up towards the less dense medium?
Yeah, he's right. That's exactly what we'd expect.
Nathan, are you there?
Yeah, sorry, I checked my dog. I haven't seen him in 2 hours. What was up, James?
Gotcha. Next, we had that last super chat was... They said, Slickwid Nick said, there is an atmospheric gradient. Why don't things fall up towards the less dense medium?
Some things do fall up. It's called a helium balloon, globe heads. Oh my God, dude, this is hilarious.
Gotcha. Thanks for your super chat from our dearest friend, Stupid Whore Energy. Says, why doesn't Nathan accept the Cavendish experiment?
This is not an experiment. There's no observation that you can determine mass attracting mass. That is an effect conjured in the apparatus.
Gotcha. Next up, I don't even know what this one means. I feel like I should. I'm pretty sure it's meant to be an insult, but I can't tell if it's just toward Nathan or both. You guys are just being pretty rough and tumble. Rangerman9404 says, Mark is denser than air. That can't be an insult. Then they said Nathan is denser than a black hole. Okay, I get it. Thanks.
Wow. There he is.
Gently's channel, thanks for your super chat, said, because reasons. Thanks for your super chat, Raven Zero, who said, oh, we have given plenty of answers to Nathan, so not our fault. He is brain dead and his community. Nathan, they're coming at your dogs, your people.
It's all good. That's what they do, dude. Insults and interruptions. That's what they got to look forward to, anti-flat earthers.
John Rapp, thanks for your super chat, who said, Nathan, what is the difference between mass and weight?
Difference is that mass doesn't cause things to magically attract to it. Neither does weight. I mean, what do you mean the difference between mass and weight? I mean, the mass is how much of something is, and the weight is how hard it pushes against the ground.
Gotcha.
So, Globers, dude, what are with your questions, bro? Get with the science, guys. Come on.
Gotcha. Appreciate that. Next up, thanks for your super chat from the Wumble Biter, who says, how is the heat dissipated in the dome, Nathan Thompson?
Moonlight's cold. You got to look into moonlight being cold. So obviously the heat would dissipate if we have a cooling light.
Gotcha. Thanks for your super chat from Decepticons Forever, says, Nathan, a detailed explanation for tides, please.
Yeah, of course, lakes don't have tides. So gravity, mass attracting mass. I mean, to think that the moon, and all this stuff works on a globe. That's why he's asking. He thinks all this stuff works on a globe. To think that the moon would pull the oceans up and down every time it goes around the Earth, but the Earth wouldn't pull the moon down to Earth, it just shows how scientifically illiterate these globe earthers are. And so, yeah, I mean, you know, you don't have any proof Earth's a globe, so you can't pretend you have these gotcha questions because there's no curve, the Earth doesn't rotate, and gravity and tides on a globe make no sense at all whatsoever. So I'll just ignore it.
Did you just say that lakes don't have tides? Did you really just say that?
Yeah, do you think your pool in your backyard has tides, Mark?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, really?
Like I said, Nathan, you may not understand it, but we don't need to see things move meters to be able to measure them. We can measure down to thousands of decimal points. So yes, I will absolutely guarantee you could take something as small as a pool and measure the moon going over the top of it. No, I don't have that kind of measuring stuff, Nathan.
All right, well, then claims made without evidence can be dismissed without evidence. Later, loser.
No, loser.
You have no evidence for your claim, so I'll dismiss it without evidence too. Go do your test. Quit pretending it happens because you have a SpongeBob fairy tale imagination that pretends a lot of things, Mark. Okay? So stop making claims. Go do your test with a pool and prove they have tides. If you do and you prove pools have tides, I will make a video apologizing to you and telling you how smart you are.
So you have to go from lakes down to pools? Because we can measure it on a lake.
Water other than the ocean, please, Mark. You haven't tested it. You're literally so scientifically illiterate. You're about to make claims you've never tested and have no evidence.
Wow.
We gotta move forward. We gotta move forward. Decepticons Forever, thanks for your super chat, who said, Nathan, a detailed explanation for tides, please.
Yeah, okay, so detailed explanation for tides. Sometimes you have a high tide, the water goes up. Sometimes you have a low tide, the water goes down. Mass attracting mass, never proven. Bendy space-time, also never proven. So we live in a closed dynamic system. The sun and moon obviously heat up the atmosphere, cool the atmosphere. As the atmosphere expands and contracts, Barometric pressure is always the same at sea level, so that could be causing it. Also, the dielectric properties of water and diamagnetic properties of water as the sun and moon move above us could be having some sort of effect. I personally haven't tested tides. I've been too busy proving you don't live on a spinning globe, there's no curve, and the earth doesn't rotate. I'll get to it eventually.
Nathan, did you just say that? Did you just say barometric pressure is always the same at sea level?
14.7.
We've got to keep moving. Thanks for your super chat from, let's see.
Is that a response?
We got it. Witsit gets it. Thanks for your super chat, who said, Mark, can privations have physical properties?
No.
Gotcha. Thanks for yours. If you didn't hear, folks, Mark said no. Thanks for your super chat. Raven Zero, who says, I don't know this guy, but anyone that can rip and tear Nathan like this deserves a drink. My treat. Timothy. So you got a fan out there, Mark. James.
How does pressure change with ocean depths at sea level? The air that surrounds us presses down on our bodies at 14.7 pounds. Dude, you got to teach Globers everything. They don't even know their own religion.
Gotcha. Thanks for your super chat from Timothy Foster. Appreciate it. Says, James, for you, because you're putting in a lot of work. Appreciate it. Really do. And all credit to the speakers. And Witsit gets it. Thanks for your super chat. Said, Mark, congrats. Well, I'll wait until Mark gets back. Excalibur, thanks for your super.
Back.
Okay. Said, Mark, congrats on constant straw men, shifting the burden of proof, and reification fallacies. This clown got dismantled. Nathan for the win, obviously.
So here's the deal. He just asked me to make tests. So he says that we can't measure a tide in a pool. Fair enough. I probably can't. I don't have any way of measuring it. It's not something that just an average person has, that kind of measuring equipment. But one thing I can tell you is you can go down to your local home improvement store, grab a barometer and something that can measure barometric pressure, and see if that ever changes at sea level. According to Nathan, never changes. Always 14.7.
Gotcha. Thanks so much. Appreciate it. And thanks so much, Danny Masters Studio, for joining our Patreon. Really appreciate it. It means a lot to have that support. We're excited to do some upgrades, folks, as we do have some tech upgrades coming up. I just made a couple of purchases and plan on setting it up. And then we're shooting for some upgrades in terms of our intros and things like that to make the graphics better, and also, of course, the audio. So thanks for your patience with our audio through the years.
James, you should hire a good-looking host.
Ooh, sassy. I like it. Very good, Nathan. Well, I want to let you know, Earl the Postman happens to disagree with you. So appreciate, let's see, your super chat from, I think we read, yep. Excalibur says, is Nathan really this stupid, or is it fake?
More insults. Pretty pathetic.
Gotcha. Thanks for your super chat. General Ballsack says, I'll fight Mark on Trump's position on the coronavirus. They're defending.
I'm ready.
Whoa. General Ballsack, if you email me, that's his real name, by the way, on his birth certificate. If you email me, General Ballsack, we will host that if you and Mark are both up to it on a date that works for both. They said, I'm getting tired of his sacrimonious position. Okay, thanks for Mark is not amused. BT Dubs, thanks for your super chat, said, Nathan, you claim other people are scientifically illiterate, but you refuse to prove how. Denialism isn't evidence of anything other than a weak argument.
We're talking about, I asked this guy 8 times if he knew what 3 constituent parts of an experiment was, and he literally said, you conjure up ideas in your head, do an experiment, and then look at the results. Bro, you can't manipulate the cause of an observation you conjured in your imagination, SpongeBob.
Gotcha. Thanks for
Actually, that's not what I said at all. He said that you have to observe something. I said you didn't have to observe it at all.
Yeah,
you can
manipulate something you can observe.
You're interrupting again.
How do you manipulate?
Interrupting again.
How do you manipulate something you don't observe?
What are you talking about?
You just said you don't need to observe something to do an experiment. How do you?
So if I get up tomorrow morning and I think to myself, gee, I wonder what it would be like to take Coke and let's mix it with muriatic acid. I've never seen that done before. Is that not an experiment because I conjured it up in my head? Is that what you're saying? Because I've never seen Coke and muriatic acid mixed together before, I can't do that experiment, come up with a hypothesis of what would happen if I drank it and then test it? Is that what you're really saying?
Very easily could observe Coke and mixing it with any chemical you want. What I'm saying,
how could I observe it unless somebody did it? You'd have to come up with the idea in your head. You'd have to go ahead and do it. You'd have to do the experiment and then see what your results are. See if they match what you came up with. So no, he's just pretending. He likes to use these big words. You'll hear him do it a lot, but really he has no mathematical understanding whatsoever.
Science is the observation and experiments of the natural world. I'm sorry, Mark, you're scientifically illiterate, but a Coca-Cola can never be observed in the natural world, bud. It's man-made, so if you want to conduct whatever you want to do with a Coca-Cola, it doesn't prove you're on a spinning ball. It's not science at all whatsoever, bud. Period.
Coca-Cola is man-made?
Yeah, you don't find lakes or rivers of Coca-Cola in nature, bud. It's man-made.
So we don't see sugar in nature? We don't see water in nature? No, none of that, eh?
I'll repeat myself. You don't see Coca-Cola in nature. We definitely have sugar and we definitely have water, Mark.
Definitely. Right. We have muriatic acid too, don't we?
Where's your big red nose? Do I get an animal balloon at the end of this clown show? Are you going to make me an animal balloon asking me if we see water and sugar in nature and pretending that that is Coca-Cola?
Have you not noticed that 99% of the people that are watching this think you're an absolute idiot? Have you not noticed that?
Popularity. I don't care. It's another ad hominem insult. You're a sore loser, bud.
I'm not a loser. I already told you, Nathan. Nathan, I've already told you. I am willing to put $100 into GoFundMe.
Big money.
What do you mean?
I've donated like $20,000 of my own money to do observations.
We do have to get back in. So
then do it.
To stop you guys.
I'm sitting here saying I'll donate.
I have to get back in.
20 grand testing the earth. You haven't spent jack diddly.
Here we go.
Of course I haven't.
Thanks for your.
Of course I haven't.
All right,
Why would I?
It's getting late. So I've got you both on mute. I hate to do that, but I'm going to read the next question. And then Cal's Kingdom, thanks for your super chat, who says, Nathan is a beta. And then says, Mark's anger equals understandable. Next up, thanks for your super chat from, let's see, BT Dub says, Nathan, you claim other people are scientifically illiterate, but you refuse to prove how. Denialism isn't evidence of anything other than a weak argument. Oh, gosh, you're right. I did that one already. Super sorry about that. That's embarrassing. Michael Dresden, thanks for your super chat, says, sorry, globe heads, but Nathan dominated, in all caps. You got a fan out there, Nathan. Stupid Whore Energy, thanks for your super chat, says, indirect observation via instrumentation is part of the scientific method.
There is no observation in nature with mass attracting mass. So you can conjure it up in your metal balls and which have magnetism and your apparatus, but we don't observe that in nature, guys. So you can continue to be scientifically illiterate, pretend you're right, but the truth is incontrovertible. Malice will attack it. Ignorance will try and deride it with things like Cavendish. But in the end, there it is.
Hey, James.
Yep.
Can I answer that? Ask him one day to look up what happens if two ocean-going boats full of something like iron ore get sucked together and stuck together. Tell him to check that out.
Gotcha.
That's called
check
gravity,
that
dude. That's gravity.
You got it. And thanks so much for your super chat from, let's see, Excalibur says, yeah, now Mark is nailing him. You go, Mark. You got a fan out there, Mark. Kakarot, thanks for your super chat, said, Nathan, explain time zones.
Of course, the sun moves around polar center. If you've ever seen a yin and a yang, that is the sun and the moon moving around polar center. And so the earth, the sky is a map and a clock. That's where we get time zones from. The sun makes a perfect 24-hour, 360-degree circuit. The globe invented sidereal days and pretends that it's not a 24-hour circuit. Then they invented leap years because they have to compensate for the fact we don't live on a spinning globe, and the day and night doesn't change every 6 months. Because if the Earth does rotate a perfect 24 hours, or 360 degrees every 24 hours, that means every 6 months, nighttime would turn into day and daytime would turn into night, because we'd be on the other side of the sun. Now, not only do we not observe completely different night skies, they invented the sidereal day. The sun does move in a 360-degree 24-hour circuit. So that's how we have time zones, guys. The sky's a map and a clock.
Gotcha. Thanks for your super chat from Dan, who says, Nathan, how do you explain the equinox?
Yeah, of course. So as the sun moves between the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn, sometimes it crosses the equator. These are super easy. You guys are really nice giving me the softball questions. It's like your first day researching flat Earth or something.
Gotcha.
Nathan, what the hell is the equator on a flat Earth?
Yeah, it would be the meridian point between the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. On both models, it is an imaginary line. You can't go to the equator and point at it and say, there it is. But it would basically be the middle point between the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. And on flat Earth, those are the two latitudinal lines that the sun and moon move in between, to answer your question.
I would love to see how you have a light going around 360 degrees on a flat plate that shines on exactly half of it at a time. I'd love to see that. You'll have to demonstrate that someday.
You're presupposing that half the Earth is illuminated at any given time. First of all, you haven't tested that. Second of all, how would you know how big the Earth is and exactly what percentage of it is illuminated?
Gotta keep this going. Thanks for your super chat from Gently's channel, who says, Nathan can't math worth a damn.
Yeah, 1,048,576 times 2 is 2,097,152 times 2 is 4,194,304 times 2 is 8,388,608. I mean, maybe you can't math. That's why you don't understand what I'm saying.
Excalibur, thanks for your super chat, who said, now Nathan is drinking so much he is slurring.
Yep. Slurring super hard. I just did multiples of 2 to the 20 to 2 to the 24th. No problem. Should we do the alphabet backwards? C, Y, X, W, V, U, T, S, R, Q, P, U, N, M, O, K, J, H, T, F, E, D, C, C, B, A.
Okay. We'll come back to that later. Thank you for that. And next up, Happy Dude, thanks for your super chat, who said, Nathan dominated. Sorry, folks, the truth hurts. Gotcha. Thanks for your super chat. Common Sense Criticism says, keep drinking. Can't wait for the sobbing video.
No problem. Tune in later.
Next up, Excalibur, thanks for your super chat, says Nathan gets drunk in all caps again. Thanks for your thanks for your super chat. Nobody here says, what experiments has Nathan done to prove that there is a dome?
Yeah, I mean, well, experiments are cause and effect. So determining the cause of an effect, dome, I mean, basically the second law of thermodynamics is entropy, guys. So my proof is you don't observe gas pressure without a container. And my second evidence is that space is all cartoons. So if we give the government $52 million a day, we shouldn't just be getting cartoons of the South Pole, cartoons of satellites in space, cartoons of the solar system. We should have some real pictures eventually. I mean, they say they landed on the moon 50 years ago, guys, and we don't have real pictures of satellites or the South Pole or the solar system. Give me a break.
Gotcha.
You know you can get on a cruise ship, and go to the South Pole. You know you can go up into the, forget it.
Have you done that, Mark? No.
No, I haven't. I don't want to. I know people that have, though. I know people that have.
We got to keep going.
There's a geometric, there's a ceremonial South Pole, there's an electromagnetic South Pole. Which one are you telling me I could go to, Mark?
Next up, Witsit Gets It. Thanks for your super chat. Said, Mark, can concepts have physical properties?
No.
No, Nathan. We got to keep moving. Space Monkey 7777. Is there a natural observation for electrical transistors or any other electronic component that makes your computer, Natalie? What an idiot.
Okay, your computer doesn't prove you live on a globe. If you actually did some real research, you'd be a flat earther.
Thanks for your super chat. Dan, who says, pancakes taste good. Keep them out of this, Mark. And Nathan, since you love Hovind, do you also believe dinosaurs and man shared the earth?
You don't have to believe anything. Science isn't a belief. It's observable, measurable, and repeatable. I've never seen dinosaurs roaming the earth with humans. So until I do, I'll withhold belief.
Next up, Mike Billers, thanks for your super chat. Said, James, I wish you would vet these interlocutors. Oh, that's a good reference to Darth Dawkins. You guys, there's this funny video. I'll try to link it in the comments after this video is done. There's this hilarious video of Darth. Oh my gosh. Okay, so Darth Dawkins, we hope you're doing well. Let's see. Flat Earth Data, thanks for your super chat, says, what causes the apparent junction of the sky and ground? Earth curvature or eyesight?
That would definitely be eyesight and atmospheric conditions. The way the laws of perspective work, we have converging lines from the sky and the ground meet at eye level. And the alleged curvature changes day to day, hour to hour based on atmospheric conditions, because we have aqueous particles in the atmosphere also. You can have different amounts of waves or wave shoaling, all sorts of variables you need to take into account, but Globers don't, because the only reason things disappear is they live on a tilted cartoon ball.
Gotcha. Thanks for your super chat. Appreciate it. From our dearest friend, BT Dubs says, if globe Earth is as ridiculous as you say, why do you lie about it? You shouldn't need to lie and twist everything so much. I just want an honest conversation.
He just presupposes that I lie and didn't give any evidence or give an example of where I lied. So that's a really cool story, Glober, and a very empty claim.
Kakarot, thanks for your super chat. They said, I'm the one debating Hovind. I'm not an atheist. Good to know. John Rapp, thanks for your super chat, said, Globetard is not an insult? Right, clown.
I never use that word.
Gotcha. Next up, thanks for your super chat, John Rapp, who says, Mark, on a scale of 1 to 10, how ignorant is Nathan?
Well, he's very smart. This has to be for money. You can tell he's smart. He's not a dumb person. He has to be doing this for money, attention. I don't know, but I just don't know if he realizes the negative attention this is going to cause in the future once, like I say, once this little flat Earth thing phase is over.
Gotcha. Thanks for your super chat from Philip. Appreciate it. Said, hey, Mark, you're very knowledgeable about science, so I'm just wondering, are you self-taught or do you have a science degree?
No, nothing. Just self-taught. Just do a lot of reading.
Gotcha. Thanks. Monkey Cat Pat. Thanks for your super chat. Said, send Natalie to space and leave him there.
Space is fake. Send me to your imagination and leave me there. Like, go play some video games.
Andreas Elda, thanks for your super chat. Andreas, I think it is. They said, why does lead weight not sink through a wooden table?
Yeah, because a wooden table is solid. So solid objects don't sink through other solid objects.
Gotcha. Thanks for your super chat from Reverend Arrow, who says, question for Nate, what strain and what beer?
This is a beer from Belgium, Cuvée Rene. And I don't know what he means, what strain.
Gotcha. Thanks for your super chat. Gabriel K says, Nathan is showing skin. Heck yeah, still an idiot. Okay, Brian Brocott, thanks for your super chat, said, Nathan, I'm guessing you believe him when Neil deGrasse says the Earth is round, right? Would be pretty dishonest if not.
He doesn't say it's round. He actually says from the Felix Baumgartner space jump, the Earth was flat, and the reason people think that it was curved is it was a fisheye lens. So I don't know, maybe Neil's a closet flat earther, guys. I don't know, but he says it's flat from 128,000 feet up. It's good enough for me.
Gotcha. Tioga, thanks for your super chat. She says, I'm a beta. Gosh, really embarrassing. That's weird. Thanks for your super chat, Mike Billers, who says GPS triangulation shows satellites much higher than helium balloons. Prove your ridiculous statement.
No, they don't at all whatsoever. Metal boxes fall towards the ground. They don't fall in circles around the Earth, okay? Not to mention, nothing could reach the orbital velocity to escape Earth's atmosphere. They say 17,000 miles an hour. I've asked NASA employees, have you ever seen anything going faster than 5,000 miles an hour? Resounding no, because things don't go that fast. So you can just believe in satellites, Google them, they're all cartoons.
Gotcha. Thanks for your super chat from JL Warren, who says, Nathan, 1, how do you know the distances between the cities you travel between? And 2, we'll let you read that, answer that one first.
Yeah, of course, you know the distance because you can measure the distances. And regardless of how far you travel, you'll never account for any Earth curvature. Longest distance photo is 270 miles, guys. There should be 50,000 feet of missing Earth curve there. So get to the point, Glober.
Gotcha. Thanks for your super chat from our dearest friend. His second question, JL Warren asked, why is it when you plot out those known distances between cities, the plot points form a sphere?
They don't actually. You're using those plot points and then going to Google Earth and calculating angles between those 3 plot points. And I've heard people who go to Texas A&M and spend $50,000 a year and think taking 3 plot points on Earth and then putting it on a globe with Google Earth is proof they live on a globe. I'm like, dude, what are you paying $50,000 for to learn reification fallacies? How sad and pathetic. Save your money, go buy some food, start a fruit and vegetable garden. The thing's about to get interesting.
Gotcha. Thanks for your super chat. Dan, who said, my kid knows more about physics and math. Sad.
Yeah, another ad hominem insult. Very sad. That's all the globe cult religious zealots have.
Monkey Cat Pat, thanks for your super chat, says, everything Natalie says. Ding. Next up.
Another insult, James. You see the pattern here, bro? You got some pattern recognition, James?
Thanks for your super chat. Excalibur, who says, LOL, this is funny. Nathan gets drunk again.
Yep. Blessed are you when men revile you and curse you and speak all kind of evil against you falsely. I mean, if you think I'm drunk, you're such a clown. You probably think you live on a cartoon ball.
Thanks for your super chat, Timothy Foster. Timothy, I always love seeing your presence in the live chat. Pleasant person, and says, Nathan, if a tire isn't analogous to the atmosphere, why do you constantly bring it up?
Well, because both of them are closed containers. Gas pressure requires a closed container. So regardless of what the gas inside of the container is doing, the reason I bring it up is because all gas pressure requires a container. Thanks for kind of paying attention, I guess, Timothy.
Gotcha. And thanks so much. Appreciate your super chat from Tori Ingle. Message deleted. Gotcha. Thanks so much. Raven Zero for your super chat, who said, question, Nathan, X space rocket, as it's going up in altitude, at one point, the combustion thrust will expand based on different altitude pressures.
Yeah, I agree. Pressure decreases with altitude. We've been over that about 10 times. You know, we live in a closed dynamic system and the elements in the atmosphere are not the same. There's different elements. Look at a periodic table, different densities with the elements, guys. It's just basic, like 3rd grade stuff, dude. Thanks for the softballs.
Thanks for your super chat, Space Monkey 7777. Ratio of tennis ball to Earth is equal to 0.2 times 10 to the negative 8th power. Needs to have a water layer of 4 to the 10th to the negative 5th equals microscopic. Dip ball in water, you get a layer more than that on the ball. Proved water adheres to curve.
Yeah, I know. Now spin the ball. Tell me how that works out for you and what happens to the water, bud.
Thanks for your super chat. Excalibur says, sorry, Mark Drysdale, I misunderstood you. You go. Next up, thanks for your super chat. Monkey Cat Pat says, ding. BT Dubs, thanks for your super chat, said, I didn't quote the most famous scientist like it was true. I was saying that's your logic, Nathan, and it doesn't make sense. Good job, flat earther.
Yeah, I mean, mainstream science or Neil deGrasse Tyson will teach that objects in the atmosphere move separately from the Earth, but we don't observe that. Anyone will tell you a drone, an insect, smoke, helicopters, hot air balloons. We've been over this 20 times. Earth doesn't rotate under anything because the Earth doesn't rotate.
Gotcha. Excalibur, thanks for your super chat, says, touche, modern day debate. LOL, sorry, I was rude. That's really nice of you. Appreciate you owning that. Seriously, really do appreciate you. And the ghetto physicist, thanks for your super chat, said, Nathan, why do you utilize math and science and the theories and physics of a, as you say, quote, scientific religion, unquote? Come up with your own and then demonstrate it.
I don't pretend there's curvature. I don't pretend in gravity. I believe in real science that's observable, measurable, and repeatable. So I don't even understand what you're talking about, dude.
Gotcha. Thanks for your super chat. Space Monkey 7777 says tennis ball, Earth is equal to 1, ratio of 1 to 2 to the 10th times the negative 8th ratio to Earth. On a tennis ball is equal to nanolayer of water. Dip a ball in water, you will see water curving to the ball.
You read that, James. I said spin the ball, the water flies off.
That's totally a different one. It's slightly different. Yeah, Smart Alec. Okay, thanks for your super chat. I'm just teasing you. The Ghetto Physicist says, Nathan, why do you utilize math and science and the theories and physics of a, as you say, quote, scientific religion, unquote? Wait, what the heck? Are we getting duplicates? Yeah, we got, no, that wasn't quite. They said, come up with your own and then demonstrate to all the current scientists in the universities. Okay, that's slightly different.
Yeah, that's what we've been doing. We got 130,000 people in the official Flat Earth and Globe discussion, and I've done over 10,000 debates just like this one, where the other person hasn't tested anything, made a lot of empty claims, and believes the government and everything in the textbooks, even though they disagree with what's in the textbooks and say the atmosphere moves with the Earth. Too funny.
Gotcha. Ranger Man 9404, thanks for your super chat, said, have the dog answer the questions. He's smarter than you, Nathan.
Another ad hominem. Little pattern recognition yet, James? You seeing it?
Monkey Cat Pat, thanks for your super chat, says, Natalie had ruined SpongeBob. Next up.
It's Nathan, guys. I don't know if you're confused or delusional and think I'm a girl, but my name is Nathan Thompson. I know I take up a lot of space in your brain rent-free, but at least get my name right.
Gotcha. Weasel, thanks for your super chat, said, please be less insulting. If you want to get your point across, being insulting to the masses will not help. Anamorphic Mind, thanks for your super chat, said, Nathan, your mom says to come home. She has your favorite pacifier clean and ready for you.
That's a good one, dude. Yeah, I'll drive across the country tonight. Thanks so much.
Next up, Stupid Horror Energy, thanks for your super chat, says, how can the entire ring of the flat earth be illuminated at the same time by a single light source, but not the center of the flat earth? From Sean Hawkins.
You're presupposing that you have done observations from every point on the perimeter of our flat earth and determined that they're all illuminated. I mean, what a joke, dude. It's like, could you pretend harder?
Sphere itself, thanks for your super chat, says, curse you! James is the sexiest host around. As I said, that is Earl, the postman. He is 65 and from Alabama, the biggest supporter. We appreciate that, Earl. Thanks for your wits it, gets it, appreciate it. They said, Mark, what's a shifting burden of proof fallacy?
Well, coming up with something and then saying you can't explain it, so it's not true. Like, just shifting the burden of proof, which is basically everything that Nathan says here, though, you got to realize is that he won't take anything. So if we say, well, we've been to space, we've seen the Earth's a ball. Oh, no, we haven't. Everything's a conspiracy. So all he does is everything that we say that we know, he doesn't accept any of our proof. We've been to the moon. We've looked back at the Earth. We've seen it. But then he'll say, well, you haven't done it.
Gotcha. And thanks for your super chat. Okay, we have to wrap up the Q&A, folks, in the sense that we can't take any more questions. So sorry. We're going on 3 hours. We're going to try to speed through the rest of what we have here. And thanks for your super chat. Stephen Smith says, Nathan, any actual measurements for proof?
Measurements of what? That it doesn't curve and doesn't spin?
Gotcha.
Yeah, sure. Go outside. Look at the laser tests we've done. Look at the long distance observations. Those are measurements.
Gotcha. Thanks for your super chat from Brian Brokaw. Says, those of us that don't deny scientific consensus are religious? Is it science or your religion that believes in people returning from the dead?
I've never seen anyone return from the dead, so I believe the Son of God returned from the dead, but that's not people, guys. That is God. There's a difference. So it's just another Straw man argument, James.
Basic Bro, thanks for your super chat, said, how does Nathan walk and breathe at the same time? B-Ball for Life, thanks for your super chat, said, if Cavendish is not an experiment, Nathan, then why does nearly every university perform it?
Well, because universities and mainstream science has been hijacked, ladies and gentlemen, so they will confuse you and trick you and tell you it's an experiment when it's not. There's no naturally occurring observation of mass attracting mass. It's a vain religious belief, guys. You got to get with the program. It's 2020.
Gotcha. Ranger Man 9404, thanks for your super chat, says, if we don't observe gravity in nature, explain orbits.
Yeah, well, I've asked NASA employees of proof of gravitational orbits. So first, before I explain something, you got to stop pretending it's real. That's called begging the question fallacy. So if you had some scientific evidence that things fall in a circle around other objects because of mass, well, I'd look at the evidence. But based on my research and my 5 years of running the official Flat Earth Globe discussion and my chats with NASA employees, it's all about belief. It's not about science, guys. Welcome to the globe religion.
Gotta move forward fast. BT Dubs, thanks for your super chat, said, Nathan, you're misunderstanding my super chats. If you say someone is scientifically illiterate, say how so we know. They're saying say how so that they are scientific literate so we know. It's just constructive criticism.
Yeah, of course, dude. I asked him 8 times what the 3 constituent parts of were an experiment. And finally, he gave me an answer, which was, you just think about it, and then you manipulate what you're thinking about. Ha! That's funny. Good work, Mark.
Red Cosmos Devil, thanks for your super chat, said, Nathan, what's, let's see, 56,757 times 12? Go. You have 1 second. You're not going to tell us?
You want me to use a calculator? I mean, multiplying large numbers in my head.
Durweasel. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, it's all
If
good.
it helps, I don't know either. I'd have to use a calculator.
Yeah,
I can't even remember the number.
I knew it. All right, I'm kidding. I didn't. Durweasel, thanks for your super chat, says, nothing there, but if you have something, let me know. General Ballsack, thanks for your super chat, said, let's go to Antarctica. Either we prove the shape of the Earth or we get a good time in Antarctica.
Going to Antarctica only proves that you went to Antarctica. Guys, go outside. The Earth is flat everywhere. You don't need to go to Antarctica to find out if it's curving or if it's flat. This is how scientifically illiterate you guys are. It's really pathetic.
Snake was right. Thanks for your super chat. Said, Nathan, do experiments test things found in nature?
Experiments only deal with nature and the observable world. Yes.
Thanks for your super chat. Stupid or Energy says, Mark, what do you think of the movie, quote, Strange Brew?
Oh, have I seen that? I don't know if I've seen that, but one thing that I think is pretty funny is that Nathan believes in a God with absolutely no evidence, and there's nothing he's been able to research on his own, unless he wants to tell us that people talk to him in his imagination. Yeah. So just think about that for a minute.
Yeah, well, the evidence of a creator is all around you. It's called creation. So if you want to,
so the evidence of our globe Earth, it's all around you. It's called the globe.
Oh, good one.
Gabriel K, thanks for your super chat.
Actually, it is.
Says James, has McRae's show ever been this fruitful? Do you mean like when Steve McRae comes on the channel? Because as you'll see on the bottom right of your screen, he will be back to take on Snake Was Right this coming Monday. And I don't know if you guys thought it was fruitful. Let me know if you did or didn't. He's a controversial figure, that's for sure. Let's see. Brian Brokaw, thanks for your super chat, said, why do these debates, honestly, you hand wave dismiss any and all evidence you don't like? And they said that's for Nathan.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's no evidence that I don't like, guys. I don't have feelings in this. I told you earlier, I would rather be a globe earther, but it's not a globe. So I don't know what you're talking about, dude. You guys are wild.
Point and laugh.
And take a telescope to the highest mountain you can find and show us where all the cities are. Done.
All right, we already talked about, there was a question from Flat Earth Data. He said, things disappearing bottom first, is that due to Earth curvature or eyesight? And I answered, it's due to eyesight and atmospheric conditions. Now, telescopes still obey the laws of perspective, Mark. I know you're scientifically illiterate, but you can't use a telescope to see forever or disobey the laws of perspective.
Who said forever?
Anytime you're using an optical, you just said I should be able to see every city and everything from the highest point with a telescope. You think you can see forever with a telescope.
You don't need to see forever. You got to see to Australia, not forever, clown.
Okay.
You don't need
Just to Australia, not forever, clown.
Well, we don't
I've
need
got to
to
give Nathan the last word because it was targeted at him, and then we got to move on.
James, we've done long distance observations, Bar-Day Krenz, 17-mile, 35-mile laser observations. You're right. We don't need to see forever. We just need to see far enough to prove your cartoon globe's wrong, bud.
Next up,
No,
thanks for your super chat. Point and Laugh says, space vacuum cleaner plugged in where? Tyler 432, thanks for your super chat, says, Mark, where is one ISS? Is that, do I remember right? Is it the International Space Station?
International Space Center, yeah. Space Station.
Said, where is one ISS picture showing people in Australia upside down?
There is no such thing as right side up or upside down. There is no right side up or upside down. That was something really funny that Nathan said on our last debate. Because I have been to Australia, and he says, "Oh yeah, you stood upside down and watched a toilet flush." Yeah, there is no upside down. There's no right side up or upside down. There's no north. There's no south when it comes to outer space.
Next up, Space Monkey 7777. Thanks for your super chat. Said wet curving baseball still wet in catcher glove. Thanks for your super chat. Dan says Google ad hominem. I don't think you understand.
Backing the person, not the argument. I definitely understand what an ad hominem is.
Thanks for your super chat. Monkey Cat Pat says once again, ding. Next up, Caleb, thanks for your super chat, said, Nathan, why would the government want to fabricate a globe?
Yeah, well, the word government comes from the word govern the mind, govern the mental, which is mind control. And in my opinion, the globe Earth is one of the greatest magician, sorcery, mind control, wizardry acts you could think of, because they invented infinite space. They get you to deny that the sky is a map and a clock. And Psalm 19:1 says the firmaments declare God's glory and show his handiwork. So what happens is you develop a very heathenistic, atheistic worldview. Even though space is infinite, creates a very finite way of thinking. So you end up being a shape-shifting monkey who believes in the Big Bang, which basically states strawberries and dolphins and the sun
short and pithy
came from a dot.
Show your sources. Thanks for your super chat. Said old question, but Nathan, have you seen God?
I haven't seen God myself, but I've seen evidence of God. It's called the creation. Now, one day we will all see God and we will give an account. You better believe it, Globers.
Next up, thanks for your super chat. Fear the Weeper says, what did you just smoke, Nathan? In parentheses, we saw it in the window. Reflections are a B.
Yeah, I smoked Mark in this debate. It's what I smoked.
Next up, thanks for your super chat. Daniel Baker, appreciate it, said, we can observe gravity and gas in a vacuum by looking at Jupiter from our own backyard. Isn't this proof good enough?
Yeah, well, he's saying basically presupposing space and then presupposing what Jupiter is, a big ball of gas, but I don't believe Jupiter is a big ball of gas. It's a luminary. It's a light in the sky. All lights in the sky are luminaries. Nothing is reflecting sunlight. That's why moonlight is cold.
Next up.
But he believes in a god.
Red Cosmos Devil, thanks for your super chat, said, Natalie, what is 20/0? If that's hard, or 20 divided by 0. If that's hard, what is 2 to the 7th power?
Stay on the topic of the discussion, please.
Next up, thanks for your super chat. Raven Zero said, I built my own drone with GPS model and took it to the middle of nowhere. No cell phone tower. I can still pick up 8 USA and 5 Russian satellites. How?
I told you it's more than ground-based towers. They also use fiber optic submarine communication cables and temporary helium balloons. And they use something called LORAN for things that are over the ocean. So look into it, guys. I mean, it's like day one flat Earth research questions. So.
Gotcha. Thanks so much. And thanks so much. I think that we've gotten all of those questions. So want to say thanks so much.
Guy said, ask Nathan James if the moon is real. These Globers want to know if I think the moon's real. Yeah, look up at night. The moon's very real. So I just want to answer that question for Danny, James.
Gotcha. Well, there you have it, Danny. He believes in the moon. Thanks for your time, everybody. It's honestly, I just love doing this. It just puts me in such a great mood. Totally enjoy it. But I have to say, I have to give all credit to the speakers. They make it fun. We really appreciate these guys. They have passion. They've got gusto. There are a lot of channels that would be thrilled to have these guys. And so we just want to say thanks so much to our speakers for being with us tonight.
Yeah, of course, James. Happy to be here. Happy to be a Patreon of the channel, guys. Like and subscribe. And if you're a big-time subscriber, then make sure you support James directly.
Yeah, thanks a lot, James. And one thing I do want to apologize for, often in Kent Hovind's debates, he'll call people retards and stuff, and I find it really insulting, and I used that word tonight, and I just wanted to apologize for doing that. Slipped out. I'm 52 years old. We talked a little bit different back in the day, and believe me, we're not proud of some of the stuff that we did back in the day and the way that we talked, but I would like to apologize for saying that word. I don't use it regularly, and I'd like to apologize for that.
Thanks, Mark. We really appreciate your authenticity. We really do. And last, Brian Stevens, thanks for your Patreon question, said, Nathan didn't read the full quote. Quote, the Coriolis effect impacts objects on a large scale and does not generally have a big influence on small scale objects.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, show me where it affects large objects, because it doesn't move under airplanes either. The Federal Airline Administration trains pilots on a non-rotating Earth. So cool story. It doesn't move under insects or large objects like airplanes.
Gotcha. So want to say thanks so much for everybody being here. I'm telling you guys, I put the links of these speakers in the description. If you want something that you would like interestingly enjoy, I'll be a little bit biased in the sense that I'm going to tell you to go to Mark's channel right now. But I want to say, it's not like his channel is arguing for a globe Earth. That's not like what his channel is about. So I feel a little bit more comfortable. His channel really is, you get to see big cats, like Mark hanging out with full-grown lions. It is, honestly, it's like the Tiger King. It's better, though. So I honestly, seriously, go click on Mark's link below, and I'm dead serious. I'm really picky about what channels. Thanks, Nathan, for showing that. Right now on Nathan's phone, you are seeing what is Mark right next to a big cat. That's the video that I think is the video I was watching today, and that I honestly struggled to stop watching. I was like, oh, I should go exercise. And I was like, but this is really interesting. So Mark is basically teaching you, like, is it right to say, Mark, that would it be accurate that you were teaching people that if they had big cats, like what is the proper teaching and training of big cats, I should say more directly?
Yeah, what basically started this is Tammy, my wife, and myself. We watched the Tiger King. The cats that I have, they're all trained for movie work. So if you've seen a lion or tiger in a major motion picture or a commercial, anything like that, they're probably mine or my colleagues, and we've trained them to be like this so that they can be used in movies. But then that Tiger King movie came out, and there's some really bad information on there. There really is. That is not what the industry looks like, not at all. And I just set out to prove some of the stuff that he was showing. I just find it to be really dangerous. I really do. So
Mark, I can't believe you're in the cage with these lions, bro. That is
yeah, I know. So I just wanted to do some information videos, but this is what I do. This is my job. I do it every single day, and I do it many hours a day. Yeah, they're my kitty cats.
I knew you had balls when you stepped up to debate me, Mark, but I didn't know you had balls this big, bro.
These are my babies.
It is. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you guys. It is exciting and just kind of almost tense. I know that, Mark, you're probably used to it, but when I see you walking around these lions, and you had mentioned if you accidentally stepped on their tail, unlike a dog, they're more likely to take it as a sign of aggression, and you might be in trouble. So just watching you, and as the lion almost pushed you into the water, I was like, it was just intense. It was suspenseful. So I think your channel is going to be off the hook.
Yeah.
He's got
Yeah.
that giant lion. Wow.
Yeah. Their triggers are definitely a lot easier to find accidentally than a dog. And don't get me wrong, you know, everybody knows you step on a dog's tail, especially if it's sleeping, it'll, you know, right away reach around and give you a little bite. So, you know, you don't get a little bite from a lion or a tiger, especially when they weigh 500 or 600 pounds. Everything's big.
For sure. And RangerMan9404, thanks for your super chat that said, how do you control a lion? I can't control my Bengal cat.
You can't control them. That's, you know, go watch my videos and start at the very beginning. It's all about just getting in with them and, you know, just getting that human animal contacting and getting that trust going back and forth so that they know who you are, what you're all about, and you build a trust, you know. And you know, just so people do know, I do try to take a person or two on a year and you know, teach them the art of doing this. And it really is an art. There's very few people. A lot of people have lions and tigers, very few of them interact with them every day.
Mark, can I take pictures with your lions if I'm driving through town?
Where are you from?
I do a lot of traveling. I'm in Virginia now, but I'm from Southern California.
Oh shit, you'd be able to see me with a telescope.
Yeah, that's how flat it is.
Thanks a lot, James.
That's funny. So thanks so much, folks. Want to wish you a great night. It's always fun. We really appreciate you for spending time here, folks. And whether you be globe earth, flat earth, Christian, atheist, LGBTQ+, no matter what walk of life you're from, we really do hope you feel welcome here. And so with that, and also even if you're a critic, hope you feel welcome here. And so we try to be like, the mods will only wipe out hate speech, or if you're harassing someone over and over, other than me, I'll take it all night. But if it's somebody else, we'll give you a warning. We'll say, hey, can you loosen up? And so that, we appreciate you guys being here. And so we'll, I hate leaving. I just am in such a good mood. It's always so fun. But so thanks so much, folks. Have a great night. Keep sifting out the reasonable from the unreasonable. And as I mentioned, Nathan's, and then also Mark and Tammy's channel, both of those channels are down in the description for you folks. So thanks so much. Have a great night. And thanks again, Nathan and Mark.
Yeah.
Thanks, Nathan. Thanks, James.